Port Eye, a big fan favorite here at the Chili Bowl, guys.
Best of luck to him. We'll come back to the starting grid here for the B main number 2, and again, just the who's who inside of these Bs. Kevin Swindell, of course, second generation racer, lined up alongside the very tough Bobby East, the guy, a former USAC Midget national champ, Garen Hansen. Bubba Altig put on a show here a year ago, winning the first Tuesday night event, and then right behind him, who do you have? Slammin' Sammy Swindell with over 600 feature wins.
Well, he was absolute king the first decade. It's been a decade since he won, but still a lot of people have money on Slammin' Sammy.
A little deeper into the field, we'll take a look. Also, Danny Lasowski in here. Talk about another big name. You take a look at some of the guys that just transferred out. Levi Jones, Terry McCarl, Mark Brown, Brad Sweet, Ryan Durst, all those transferring into the B main. Let's go back down to Rob.
Well, Ken Stout, the Rocket, Jesse Hocken moves into the feature event. And Rocket, I'll tell you what, a great year for you in 2007. You're starting off pretty good here in 08.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I used to be a little kid up there sitting in the stands, you know, and it's just a dream come true to make the A main here at the Chili Bowl. It's a lot of good people behind me, you know, staying behind me all the time, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. But you know, it just feels good. Hopefully we can get the car tuned up a little bit better and go out in that main event and work our way to the front.
That's the Rocket, Jesse Hocken. We'll go over to Matt Yoakum.
Ron Schumann grabbed that final transfer spot. Now, you can't tell me it's been 10 years. You look like you were in the car just last week.
No, I needed to be out of the car on about lap 20. I was wore out. You know, I've always had bad air. I don't breathe very good, and it shows tonight. I need to be all done tonight. I don't need to be going 50 more.
What were you doing inside the car last night? With some power steering fluid?
Yeah, I took we had power steering problems, and they said, well, all we can do is, you know, if you ain't got no power steering, put some more fluid in. And I didn't have no power steering from the get-go. It was bypassing and blowing the seal out. And anyway, something was wrong, and they got it fixed tonight. KSC come over and fixed it for us, and we're going okay now.
All right, here we go. Kevin Swindell on the pole, leads them around here as we start. B main number 2 on the outside, Bobby East, the Beast chassis number 4. Bobby sliding high, is going to lose a spot right here to the 67 car, Gary Bubba Altig.
Yeah, he went up wide. He tried to use the cushion way up at the top. It just wasn't there, too far around, so he had to come back down to the racetrack.
And Bubba's trying to get out there in front. Not going to happen just yet. Kevin Swindell, a very aggressive driver, Dave.
Boy, he is. You got to give him props for his show last night to go from way deep in that A main to finish 5th. That was awesome.
Right. 15th up to 5th. What a spectacular run.
That's Garrett Hansen in the black number 70 back there in 3rd place. So he's moved up quite well. Bobby East running in 4th.
Oh, take a look at Danny Lasowski. Great shot there, courtesy of our Jex onboard camera. And he's fighting his way up to the back.
Hey, Ken, this is his 17th appearance. He wants to win this one desperately.
Danny Lasowski only 2nd to Swindell in appearances.
Yep, he's a long way back right now. He's currently running just about in the back. He was 17th last lap.
He started very deep in the field, and he's having a tough time. The bottom seems to be where most of the guys are running, so if you want to pass them, you're going to have to go somewhere else.
And the driver, which is easier to drive, Larry, the bottom or the top?
Oh, they're both tough. They're just completely different styles. You can see right here we got cars trying to miss everybody.
Looks like the number 12 of Trey Robb out of Newcastle, Oklahoma.
Yep.
And you don't know what I mean. He could have been like the 3rd one in there, and unfortunately, just trying to stay out of the wreck, you snub him.
Well, you saw 2 cars right behind him trying to miss everybody, and they almost got stopped, but luckily got up over the berm and kept on going.
Matt?
Trey Robb has been one of the real surprises to me this weekend. 5 victories last year in a sprint car, but guess what? They were on the pavement.
Yeah. The difference you ask about, is it easier to run the bottom or the top? The bottom is more of a finesse. You got to be real careful. As we take a look at the replay, you can see everybody. That's Levi Jones, that 20 car that goes up and over the berm, but keeps on the throttle so he can keep the engine going and keeps his position on the racetrack.
And that berm throws a lot of people a curveball. Yep. You get your left front wheel on that berm, it'll suck you right into it.
Absolutely. They built that way on purpose. They don't want you. They want you to be able to run against it, but not over it. If you put that left front up over it, they want that to upset the race car. They do it on purpose, and they do a terrific job.
And Trey Robb was running 6th, Larry, at the time of that spin. He was in a transfer, so that's a tough break.
All right, let's go down to Matt, who has something on Lasowski.
Ken, proving it's such a small world, Danny Lasowski signed on to drive the Loyette Midget. He was out of the country recently on vacation, walked into the breakfast bar at his hotel, and there was a guy there with a Midget t-shirt on. They were kind of looking at each other, and then the guy walked over and said, by the way, I would like to introduce myself. My name, Joe Loyette. You're driving my Midget at the Chili Bowl. I just wanted to introduce myself to you.
That is a great story, man. That's what you get when you come here to the Chili Bowl.
That just goes to tell you, when you don't have anything to do and you're looking for a ride, go on vacation.
I don't know if it works out that way for everybody. Coming back around, the restart in the B-Main.
Well, at the moment, Tracy Hines in a transfer, and that would be an incredible story. We can fight all the way back.
Still out front, Kevin Swindell in the 39. Bobby East is falling back to 4th place. 67. Bubba Altig hanging right in there, man.
That's Tracy Hines in the 21 car back there. Now he goes up to the high side. Looks like he might lose a spot. That's Sammy Swindell right behind him. Those two guys battling for the transfer spot.
And the black number 70 sitting back in there as well. Coming out of Manhattan Beach, California, is Garrett Hansen, his 6th Chili Bowl appearance.
Terry McCarl has moved to 9th from nearly in the back here. He is on the move.
That's a blue number 11. Terry McCarl, the blue number 11, back behind Sammy Swindell. Sammy Swindell with that Toyota. You know, Toyota's never won here.
Well, Sammy Swindell really honed his racing skills in a place called the Ditch, West Memphis, Arkansas, and that is physical racing. This fits his style.
Swindell slides up there. Here comes McCarl. That's him in the blue 11. Really giving chase here.
And McCarl is out of the feature right now. He's in 7th place, so it's very critical that he gains one spot. Can you imagine Tracy Hines, Jerry McCarl, and Sammy Swindell racing to try to get in this race?
Whoa, a little contact.
That was Hines. He just got around Bobby East.
Oh, man, and Bobby East slides it up in front of him.
Yep.
Those two guys have a little bit of history. They're very intense competitors. They've banged wheels in the past. They like to bang wheels right here tonight. They intensely want to beat the other.
They've got to be smart here because right now they're going to the A feature.
Wow, Tracy Hines really looks good from just coming off of rehab like he has.
Oh!
Bobby East.
Bobby's going for a ride.
And you know, you called it before, but that's not what it was about.
No, and Terry McCarl slipped past on the outside, nearly stalled the car. That may make his weekend right there with that move.
Two of the best drivers out here, and it's a shame because that really was a racing deal right there. It's not like they can control that slide to every last inch. As you take a look at Bobby East inside of that Beast chassis, of course, works closely with his father, ran some Busch races in 2007. He's climbing out of the car, he's okay. And Tracy Hines, you spoke with him earlier, he's still aggressively coming back here, trying to get everything figured out. But man, he looked awesome. Again, we'll take a look at it and see what happens here.
Right, you can see he slid up in front of him. Bobby East tried to cut the car down and go underneath. He just didn't get it quite low enough. He ran over that left front wheel and sent him on a ride. There he goes again, over that left front wheel as he tried to cut the car to the left. When you give somebody a slide job, you slide it in front of them. The whole idea is to try to cut back and get underneath him going into the next corner.
It all came unraveled for Bobby East when he got in that tangle, that intense duel with Tracy Hines, because it took him out of his rhythm, Larry. He was going really good, and it looked like from that point he was scrambling to get a handle back on the car.
And that's a look at Bobby East. It looks like he might have some words for Tracy Hines. Is Tracy refired? Well, we'll try to find out here in a moment, but that is Bobby East, who's out of the car and, most importantly, safe. Let's go to Rob.
Well, Ken, down here with Jerry Coons Jr., been rooting on your teammate, man. You're over there all excited. It's like you're watching your dad when you're a little kid. What about T-Mac working his way to the front?
I tell you, I mean, Terry and I just got to be real good friends, and, you know, I've been trying to help him out a little bit. He's doing a great job. I mean, he doesn't run a midget but once a year, and I tell you what, he's had to come from the C-Main, and he's up in the transfer spot now, and just up here rooting him on, and if I can give him any hints up here, but he's doing a heck of a job.
What's the racetrack doing right now? Obviously, you're also watching the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting pretty slick, slick, and just getting pretty slick. They're all running around the top, and obviously Terry's doing a pretty good job on his slide jobs.
All right, Jerry Coons Jr., we can also see, guys, if we stay here, Sammy Swindell climbing out of the race car, a little bit of smoke underneath the hood of the Toyota Power Cruise Pedregon injury. Swindell, 4-time winner of the Chili Bowl, jumps out very quickly. Obviously not very happy. Good to see that he's out, though, as the crew goes to work underneath the hood. Possible fire on the TRD number 1.
You can see that Sammy Swindell is not the favorite driver around here. Those were competitors and mechanics that were cheering when he pulled off the racetrack.
Oh, tough break for him. You don't want to see that happen to anybody. And, you know, speaking of the Swindells, we see Kevin and, of course, Sammy, father-son team. We also have another father-son team as well, and that would be the Boats. We have Chad Boat and, of course, Billy Boat, legendary racers as well. And his son trying to work his way up through the ranks. He's already been in a full-body truck, an ASA speed truck, and now, of course, Dad has him inside of a Midget as well. Unfortunately, we won't get to see him race here this evening.
And believe it or not, in 6th place right there in the 49, the blue and white car, is Brad Sweet, who started dead last in this race,
That's
Ken.
right.
He started on the tail, and now we've got another yellow.
Well, how about 2 of those guys that has transferred in here, in Brad Sweet and the number 11, Terry McCarl. Both of those guys having a spectacular run at this point.
That's Mike Goodman, the Oil Capital Sprint Car champion from last year. We'll get a look at this.
Again, a classic bicycle. You get up on 2 wheels and you're just trying to save that thing from getting on its lid. And he did do that, but he spun out and stopped on the racetrack.
Well, in the driving style, whenever you enter one of those turns, is you need to be on the throttle, because if those tires stop spinning, you catch a rut, you catch that cushion, you're going up and over. You can see those right rear tires just kind of wad up. So you got to pick up the throttle. But if you're in too hot and you're sliding, you can't pick up the throttle. So
they do an excellent job here at this racetrack. Lenny Edwards and Emmett Hahn. This racetrack very, very seldom gets holes in, but once in a while you'll have one, and when you hit one, that's what happens.
taking a look at Kevin Swindell, his 3rd Chili Bowl. He's never made it to an A main. He's looking to do that here tonight. Of course, runs in sprints and midgets, has also been in go-karts, won in midgets, and also won the night before the 500.
Absolutely, and that is one of the crown jewels. And talk about right now his elation while his father is right now steaming in the pit area.
Tracy Hines in that red black number 21.
That position back.
Yeah, he moved to the bottom, then moved to the top. He's racing that car everywhere, trying to gain spots and move forward.
Terry McCarl right there in the blue 11 chasing him. He's going to move upstairs to chase with 6 laps to go. Time running out.
And look at this. Tracy Hines is more than aggressive here tonight as he's really on the throttle trying to get to the front.
Brad Sweet trying to fight in there as well. If you watch Tracy Hines at number 21, can Sweet pull it off from the last position?
Sweet's now going to, oh, and Levi Jones tangles with Brad Sweet. Oh, heartbreak from 20th place.
He has to be livid inside of that car right now.
Well, he's a guy that, like we said, he came clear from what, the E main, I think, and was still in the thing.
Yeah, from the D.
Yeah,
yes.
from the D. So he was looked like he was going to make it all the way into the A main, and that is not done very often.
It's so difficult. We'll go back and have another look at it here. Keep your eyes right there.
Levi Jones
yeah, the blue and white car, and Levi Jones just right into the back of him.
Yeah, he just got in there too hot, and once he was sideways, he couldn't get that thing low. He knew he was in trouble. He knew he was going to hit him, but he just, once you're sideways into the corner, there's no choice. There's nothing you can do. You're already committed, and if you're going to hit him, you're going to hit him.
Sweet in the Mopar, number 49E, and he'll go to the back of the field with just a few laps left here in this B, number 2.
Yeah, it took him 16 laps to get up there in the transfer spot, so I don't think he's going to be able to gain that many spots just for the 4 laps that are left.
Pat?
Well, I'll tell you, Brad Sweet came back to Indiana a couple of years ago under the tutelage of J.J. Yaley's father, Cactus Jack Yaley, who can be a taskmaster. He likes things done right, and Sweet has certainly been a star. He's shown that here this evening.
How about Kevin Swindell? I mean, this car, we talked about it before, was very fast a night ago. We saw him come back from 15th up to 5th place, just missed that transfer spot by 1. We'll go back one more time and have a look at this previous accident.
As you said, Larry, he just got it in there just a little too hot, caught the tail end, and you get hit in the corner like that, you're just going to go around.
Let's go down to Matt.
A drama-filled B for Bobby East. First off, describe the battle with Tracy Hines.
Tracy he's just a good driver, and we weren't very good, and his car was pretty good, and we were really good our prelim night, and a couple things could have gone our way in that feature. We would already be in, but we were not. We were too free right there. I was tying the shocks down, and then when it got to where I was needing to run through the holes in 3 and 4, the right rear tied down so much, I was struggling with that part of the track, and I probably needed to move to the top in 1 and 2, and I just didn't, and I was getting past, and I was trying to stay in, and just tried getting back underneath Sammy, and he kind of arced his more sideways to hold that line, and I just ended up running over his left front, and that was it.
E-ticket ride ends tonight for Bobby East.
Well, and hats off to Bobby East, just calling it out. He says, I was struggling with my car. He's talking about dialing those shocks in, and that's what he was trying to do.
Well, that's right. I mean, it was obvious he was having some problems, and not very often a guy will admit that. A lot of times they'll try to make other excuses and blame somebody else, but he was having car problems, and it just wasn't his night, that's all.
And in talking to Keith Coons, he said they'll put 3 turns in the shocks before this week is over with, and there's 4 clicks in each turn, a total of 5 turns, but that is a huge amount as we take a look at Garrett Hansen.
Yeah, Garrett Hansen was scored in 4th. Oh my, big moment here. That's Garrett Hansen pulling into the infield, and he was solidly in a transfer position.
That's a really tough break for him. You're right. He was solidly in that transfer spot, and under the yellow, something happened to the car, and they just had to push it into the infield.
Well, I will tell you, the racing gods will giveth, and they will taketh away.
Oh, they certainly will. And we take a look at the situation now. Nathan High, an Arizona midget champion. He can look at it from here, but he's still got 2 cars to pass.
Oh boy, I tell you, Levi Jones is in. Barely hung on to that one. Got a little love tap from the back.
Well, the battle for back there in that 5th and 6th spot. Look at all those cars battling, trying to get that transfer position.
Levi Jones and Nathan High. Nathan High right now in 6th place. That is the final transfer spot.
And 17 is Chris Wyndham in the black car right there to the outside.
That's Danny Lasowski in the 05. The other car, the orange car, the 3rd car in that line, also trying to get that last transfer spot.
Final lap here. The white flag is out. Kevin Swindell, your leader, right in front of you, trying to hang on here, and it looks like the caution flag has come out.
Oh my!
And there's a pile of them there.
That was at the back, apparently. Brad Sweet, you see right there in the 49, had restarted a moment ago in the back and just got caught up in another one there.
Looks like Austin Brown, perhaps the other involved.
Now we'll have to see. They typically will go back to green racing. They'll give us a last lap, a white flag, and then, of course, that final lap again, Larry.
Well, they certainly will, and believe me, those guys up there in the first couple of spots did not want to see that. Kevin Swindell would have been real happy to come that last half lap and take the checkered flag, because now he's got Tracy Hines right behind him. Terry McCarl back there with Levi Jones, Nathan High, that's Chris Wyndham. All those guys battling for that that final transfer spot.
Chris Wyndham, a gentleman who was a Kenyan midget champion a couple of years ago, really went on a tear in that series. You talked a little bit about the disposition of race drivers, Larry. This is a very young man. He's very, very even. You see many emotional spikes out of him, and as a result, he's one of those NASCAR development drivers.
Well, we talked about the father and sons that were out here competing against each other. Of course, the Swindells, Kevin Swindell and Sammy Swindell. And then we also talked about Chad Boat and Billy Boat. We had a chance to spend some time with the Boats. Chad's coming up strong.
One of the father-son duos here at the Chili Bowl, we got the Boat family, Chad and Billy Boat. And the Andrettis, the Unsers, the Pettys, they've all had this father-son thing going on in motorsports. Does it ever get to be too much, or when you have to just say, oh, I can't deal with it anymore, that's my son, but I have to step away?
Well, it is a lot harder watching than it ever was driving, I'll tell you that much. But, it's a great time. Racing is a family sport, and we just love what we do, and we love doing it together, so it's a great time.
Do you ever get, Chad, too much pressure from your dad, and you want to think, ease up, soccer mom?
Yeah, maybe a little bit sometimes, but I know it's always for my best interest, so whatever he says is always good advice, and I just take it in stride.
Do you look at any of his past times, let's say, in midgets or sprints and say, yeah, I can kick your butt, Dad?
I don't know if I would say that now. I mean, winning 11 in a row was pretty impressive. So when I win 11 in a row, then I'll have a little bit to talk about.
Hey, he's giving you some props there, Dad.
You know, we try to set the bar high and just, you know, we can always try to do your best.
Well, hey, there you got it right from the boat's mouth. Swindell's, Schumann's, you ain't got nothing on these guys.
Well, and I'll tell you, man, he did set the bar high, there's no question. I mean, as good a race car driver as there ever was in Billy Boat.
You know what, Chad Boat, Caleb Armstrong a minute ago, these guys, their voice changes. They're going to be tough. You know that?
You know, the interesting thing, many fans not familiar with the sport say, how could these kids race? But they've been racing for 10 or 11 years by now.
Exactly right.
Look at this.
Oh, man, McCarl picking up another position.
McCarl started in 16th spot. He's up to 3rd. Tell me you can't pass on this racetrack.
Bubba trying to hang on, as is Levi Jones. A white flag flies one more time. Kevin Swindell, that's your leader.
Nathan High hanging on to that last transfer spot right now. Looks like he's going to make it, and Danny Lasowski is going to be the odd man out and miss tonight's A-main.
How about that? As big a name as there is out there, and he will miss as you take a look at your leader, Kevin Swindell. Kevin Swindell, Tracy Hines finishes in 2nd place. Congratulations to him. He'll go to the A feature after the devastating comeback that he's had to make to get up here and get back inside of that race car. We'll also have Terry McCarl in 3rd place, Bubba Altig in 4th, Levi Jones and Nathan High round out that top 6. That will give us a full field of 24 here, gentlemen, and we have a race set. It's taken us 5 days to get there, but we certainly have it as we'll take a look once again at the results here, Dave.
You know, Tony Stewart's breathing a little sigh of relief because he's got 3 of his 4 cars in the A-main. Pretty good success for Tony Stewart Racing.
Oh, there's the top 6 as we told you. Danny Lasowski in that tough 7th position. Mark Brown, Dave Camfield Jr., and Tim Siner round out the top 10. We'll take a look at the rest of this field here. Brad Sweet, so close. He was way up front. Unfortunately, got in that accident. Fell all the way to the back, right where he had started in dead last. So a good run for Brad Sweet, but no luck here tonight.
Just Tony Stewart talking things over with Ron Schumann.
Right.
Well, that's, you know, we saw this on live time and scoring. At one moment, it looked like Schumann had transferred. Then we saw live time and scoring actually change a little bit, and it looked like it might not have been Ron Schumann. So we're waiting to get clarification on that. Of course, as soon as we hear, we will let you know.
That's his son, Casey Schumann. They're following him along, and obviously they're a little concerned about what the scoring. That's him and Hahn they're going over to talk to. So, you know, they're going to get the lowdown.
Let's go down to Rob, who's with our winner.
Well, guys, Kevin Swindell getting out of the number 39 Mopar car. His father, Sammy, here to give him a little advice. I just spoke with his mom, Amy, and she's very excited to see Kevin in his first appearance in the A-main Saturday night at the Chili Bowl. Kevin, a little bit of nerve-wracking out there in that B-main, but you made it in, man. Good job.
Yeah, it's never fun when you get all the yellows, especially when you get down to 2 or 3 to go. And you know, it's just it's a big place for me in a big race, and it's good to finally make a race here.
Congratulations, man. You'll be in the A.
Thank you.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
And down in the Stewart pit, now Levi Jones has pulled his car in, and he has gone into the team hauler. Tracy Hines gingerly climbed out of his machine. We showed you earlier his comeback from injury sustained in a 4-wheeler accident last April. And right now he's talking things over with his team, getting this car ready for the A-main event, looking for his 2nd Chili Bowl Nationals victory. Well, first off, how are you feeling?
I'm sore. I don't know about this long race. It's definitely, knee was tight out there. When I stood up, it was even tighter. But, you know, we got all 3 cars in the A-main that we had out there, so that's good. I feel happy. This has not been the easiest Chili Bowl, but pretty good comeback. We made both A-mains, and hopefully we can keep going forward.
Good luck in the A.
Thank you.
Let's go to Rob.
Well, guys, Sammy Swindell, 4-time winner of the Chili Bowl, not going to make the A feature tonight, but your son just got in for his first one, so mixed emotions for you right now, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was good. You know, I think we had a shot there, but we just something had happened. We were running on 3 cylinders, and but I could still run and was passing a few cars, so I was going to hang in there and see what happened. But you know, the luck didn't go that way. We were, you know, got taken out.
How about this year's Chili Bowl versus the 1987 Chili Bowl? The first time we ran, the first time you were here.
Well, it was a lot different. I think there was probably only 30 or 40 cars. I think it was only 2 days, and where we're standing, I don't think there was any cars.
Well, guys, Sammy Swindell won't make the A-main tonight, but his son Kevin in his first. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, we have set that A feature, and the fans, obviously, as you might imagine, still having a ton of fun here. There's one race left in the 2008 Lucas Oil Chili Bowl presented by General Tire. Right now, we're going to go back down to Matt.
And Levi Jones has climbed out of his team hauler. Now, first off, a little stumble in your preliminary feature, and you said it was a driver mistake. Redemption now, you're back in the A.
Oh, definitely. A long road to go today. A lot of good race cars in the C and the B. I just want to thank my guys for sticking with me after having a really fast race car all night Wednesday. Making a mistake myself and costing me a chance of being locked in, but pretty good tonight coming from the back. It's just tough racing there in the B. You know, you're racing against some guys, and you know, I raced against guys how they race against me. So.
And one team member from another car did come over and have some words with you.
Oh, definitely. It's a Chili Bowl, tempers flare, but you know, like I said, I'll race somebody how they race me. So. We're starting in the back. We got a pretty good race car, a lot of laps here at the Chili Bowl. Stay out of trouble. Give my guys a chance to tune on a little bit and see where we end up here in a little bit.
He's going to try to make history. The deepest of winners come here at the Chili Bowl, 10th.
Well, as you might imagine, they call these things midgets for a reason. They're a smaller car than the sprint cars. And, yeah, there's still some big guys that try to get in and out of these things. And with more on that, let's go to Kenny Sargent.
1992 NHRA Funny Car Champion running the midgets tonight, Cruz Pedregon. Cruz, you're used to getting in and out of funny cars. That looks pretty simple. You don't have that same 26-inch waist you had back in high school, and getting in and out of these midgets, that's got to be tough for a kind of a big boy like yourself.
Yeah, I don't think I had a 26-inch waist when I was a kid, but, you know, the car shrunk a little bit. But it takes a few, you know, these cars are little, but there's also the safety seats, and it takes a little tweaking, you know, got to do a little this, a little that, but little longer. Plus, I haven't been doing as much as I have been the funny car, so I'll show you.
All right, not for the kids, but if I was a betting man, I bet you can't get in there within 15 seconds. Hold on, you're cheating on me. Come on down here. Let's start from the bottom. All right, 15 seconds for Cruz Pedregon to get in that car. Ready?
Yep, let's go.
Hit it.
About 5 seconds, wasn't it?
I think that was about 5 seconds, Cruz.
Hey, that's when I'm in a hurry. Hey, I've been on fire a few times with them funny cars, so I know how to get in and out real quick.
Now, is that the smile of a champion or what?
Excellent stuff right there. And Cruz Pedregon having a good time out here, of course. Once again, let's go back down to Rob.
Well, guys, we talk about making the A-Main here at the Chili Bowl. A lot of things on the line. 6th place finisher getting into his first Chili Bowl A-Main and only your second try rather. Nathan Hyde, talk about your emotions, man. The biggest race of the year. You're in it.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool deal. Like, we came here last year, didn't do too well. Like I said, this is just a dream come true. Make it to the A-Main. I was kind of blocking there at the end just to get in, but we're in, so see what happens here.
Now, we came to find you here back in the pit, and we got here and you were gone. Where'd you go?
I had to go take a leak before these 50 laps.
Good stuff. Congratulations. Good luck in the A.
Thanks a lot.
Guys, we also have Bubba Altig here, and he was, he's kind of an unknown last year, and he came in Chili Bowl, won on Tuesday, and all of a sudden, Bubba Altig t-shirts for sale, websites up, fan club, all that big stuff. Once again, man, you're making the A-Main. Congratulations.
Yeah, I got to say thanks to Dan Meekum and Meekum Auctions. They gave me a good car. This second year in a row, I'm going to try to make things happen for you guys. I made it exciting last year, and it's hard to outdo yourself, but I'm going to try.
How hard's the racetrack out there? It still looks like it's still you able to run up top on the cushion as well as pass cars down low.
Yeah, I was real good earlier. I was actually battling for the lead, and then the car went away as the top groove came in. We were still good. We're going to make a little bit of change, and we're going to the front.
Bubba Altig, there you have it, guys, going to the front.
Well, one of the biggest names here has to be the guy behind the wheel, the number 91, and that, of course, is Casey Kane, who spent the past 4 years in a Cup car, but now would like to win here at the Chili Bowl.
There's a familiar face that, well, used to be in this, but what's the first thing I see is Casey Kane. He's all over the Quick Trip Expo Center here in Tulsa. A shy guy from, is it Evansclaw, Washington, now with all these stand-ups?
Enumclaw.
Enumclaw, like
that was
I
close. That was close. Yeah.
This is just odd to me.
It's odd to me too, but it looks good. I think I like the Bud uniform.
Your hand looks a little shorter in there. Do you shorten up the hands when you get in these midgets?
Yeah, you have to a little bit. These cars are small, so but it's good to be at the Chili Bowl. It's a lot of fun here, and we're supporting. We have a cool little Budweiser midget, and all our teams are here with Mopar and stuff. So it's fun. This is a good event. It's a lot of fun to be out here.
Chili Bowl has brought in some big-time names. You got two-time winner Tony Stewart, of course, Cup driver, and I understand earlier today Tony Stewart was walking around in a Casey Kane T-shirt.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
He was walking around in a Casey Kane's T-shirt. Does he have a bone to pick with the Canester showing up?
No, I don't think so. Me and Tony get along pretty good. I don't know why he had my shirt on, but
Dude, you know what? I don't see any Home Depot Tony Stewart stand-ups here.
yeah, he's just supporting us, I guess. He likes our team.
I think I might be onto something. Tony Stewart's a little jealous the fact that I rolled in here and see Casey Kane stand-ups and none of that orange man hanging around. I think I'm onto something, Kane.
I don't know. I don't think Tony has anything to be jealous about. He's done pretty well at this race for sure.
I think he's right.
Well, that man right there with the bow tie on the back of his fire suit has a chance to do something nobody has ever done in the 21 previous runnings of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl, and that, of course, is win back-to-back events. Be very, very difficult to do, but he will have a crack at it. Let's go back and have a look at the B mains, and we'll show you how Tony Stewart got there right off the bat. He had a heck of a race.
Certainly did. He went to the top of the racetrack. Davey Ray leading that thing, went to the bottom, and once he got up top and got going, those guys battled back and forth. They passed each other about 6 times in the first 3 laps. But once he got in front and once he got up on that cushion, he just ran away from everybody else.
We'll go a little bit deeper into the race here, and this is when the guys start to get in trouble.
Steve Buckwalter there with trouble in that 25.
And the finish as Smoke drives it across the stripe first. He's hoping he can do that one more time here this evening. Now we'll go to B main number 2, and Kevin Swindell leads Bobby East around.
Yeah, and he did just the opposite. He went right to the bottom of the racetrack, pretty much ran there, and he kind of walked away with it. He had a nice lead at the end, except for the yellow flags, and wasn't really challenged.
There we go. Obviously a little incident as we kept going here, and it only takes one spinner. We'll go back to this. Sammy Swindell, the number 1.
Bobby East gets over his left front wheel, takes a hard tumble down the front straightaway, had to kind of shake the cobwebs out as he got out of the race car, but he wasn't hurt.
And then how about McCarl transferring in that number 11. Again, we see Levi Jones this time as he gets up into Sweet, who had come from dead last.
Very, very heartbreaking thing for Brad Sweet to get that close.
And Kevin Swindell is the man that hung on, drove it across the stripe first. He'll go into his first ever A main here at the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl, presented by General Tire. Here are the transfers that come out of the B main number 1. Tony Stewart, Bobby Michnowitz, and Jesse Hockett, along with Davey Ray, Brady Bacon. Then we'll take a look at the guys that came out of B main number 2. Kevin Swindell, of course, Tracy Hines, Terry McCarl, Bubba Altig, Levi Jones, and Nathan High.
An interesting situation. We had called Ron Schumann making that transfer earlier, and we saw him talking to the officials, and they just show us now that Billy Weiss is in place of Ron Schumann. So maybe our pit guys can chase that down and clarify what's going on there. Very interesting, Larry.
Yeah, because he was in 6th spot on the racetrack. There must have been something else going on there.
All right, one of the guys here that showed up with a lot of hardware is a man that does it for a living. Former driver and car owner, Keith Coons.
Keith Coons Motorsports in Columbus, Indiana, with car owner and crew chief Keith Coons, has been racing and working on race cars since the early 80s. He's had all the big name drivers drive his cars, and he's won every major event you can imagine.
Like many other guys in racing, Keith, you got started at an early age because of your father, but you didn't start as a driver. You started working on the cars. How come you didn't take the driver route?
I was always around racing. I brought up around racing. My uncles always raced. I drove for a little bit, crashed a couple times, really didn't have great equipment, didn't know a lot, was so-so driving, could always get better drivers.
Now, of course, the Coons name pretty big in midget racing, but there's 2 Coonses in midget racing. Your brother Rusty, well-known crew chief as well. What was it like when you guys teamed up together and started working on your own cars and racing your own cars?
You know, it was instant magic. We bought a car together and kind of met some good people and kind of went about it the right way. And from then on, we had had real good success.
Keith, back in 1994, you decided to head to the West Coast, go to work for Gary Zarunian, and then John Lawson with Billy Boat. What was that like, chasing a West Coast championship with USAC?
In 1994, me and Rusty, we were really starting to have success. We won Belleville Nationals the year before with Paige Jones, won the Chili Bowl in 94 with Andy Hillenberg. The whole package kind of came together.
Keith Kunz has worked for big-name car owners. He's also become a big-name car owner. He's had a lot of great drivers behind the wheel of his cars, a very hands-on race car owner.
You've been kind of an innovator in building midgets. I remember, I think it was 98 when you kind of built what we called a big midget, which was your coil-over front-end sprint car, which really looked like a big midget. I mean, it was everything looked identical. And then now, we fast forward, and a lot of the sprint cars going to anti-roll bars in the front, coil-over front with the anti-roll bar, and then you were kind of the first guy to bring that to the midget side, and that's what all your bullet cars are like now.
Right. All I knew was coil fronts at that time, so we built a sprint car that was coil front car, torsion rear, and had a lot of success with it, and kind of everything jumped that direction shortly after that. Now it's kind of revolved back to bars, and now the anti-roll bars came into the scene. It's much more touchy on a midget than it is a sprint car.
Now looking at all these cars that you guys have lined up here, you can see over behind us here, we've got cars that are pretty much ready to rock. And then if you go to your right, and then you see all your pavement cars down there, which will run the start of next year with USAC. And then you come back over here to this side, sort of, kinda, not so sorta, kinda, not really even close, and that one just came off the welder.
You know, these cars were left over from last year, these two here. The rest of these are all brand new ones that have been going, and as we build them, you know, the guys started putting them together, so, you know, they're further along on these, and this is the last one to come off the jig. And if we only had one car to put together, and with my guys, they could do it in a day, easy.
What do you think you'll be doing when this is all done and you've hung it up? I'm retiring, I'm done racing. Is that ever gonna happen?
I don't think so.
Keith Kunz, known as being one of the best chassis men in the business.
Now, Keith, you made it to every single Chili Bowl with the exception of the very first one back in 1987. What's some of the biggest things you've seen change over the years?
Probably the biggest change I've seen at the Chili Bowl is the atmosphere. I do remember back then how, you know, gradually you seen the stands starting to get fuller and fuller. Being indoors in the winter and everybody being able to walk around the pits all day long, the atmosphere is what brings everybody there. When it's down to the last spot to get in the Chili Bowl, you know, if the guy's driving for me, you got to get in. You got to get in.
And it's guys like him the reason that there's so much growth here. If you want to rent a midget, he will give you a car good enough to come out here and win with. Well, down with Matt Yoakum is a very special pair of individuals, the vice president and the president of Lucas Oil Products, and there are no bigger race fans on this planet than one Forrest Lucas. Matt?
Ken, we've talked all night about how this event has been sold out since May. 44 states are represented here by ticket buyers. But you know what? The man who probably has the best seat in the house is Forrest Lucas. No, he's not up in a suite. You know, he's not up, you know, with the wine and cheese people. He's down here with the fans off turn 4. Forrest, is this the e-ticket seat for the race fans?
You know, I'm sitting here with a bunch of friends, a bunch of our Team Lucas sponsors, just listening to everybody having a good time. I love to see other people have a good time. This is it right here for me.
When you look at the race fan in general, that's the kind of group that always migrates toward your product because it's for the average race fans, for the average guy. And you look around here, and this is Americana at its finest.
This is, you're exactly right. These are my people. They're the do-it-yourselfers that buy our product. And I got to tell you, we want to bring dirt track racing to another level. It's much better than people think it is. There's a lot of, anybody can go find a dirt track within an easy drive to their house, and you need to go out and watch it. As much fun as it is here tonight on television, it's a lot better for real.
You know, you could be sitting up in a suite high atop the grandstands here, but you're in the stands with all the fans. Now, for the folks at home, now we've been trying to tell them all night about the Chili Bowl experience. Now, from your perspective, here in row 5, turn 4, What are they missing by not being here?
Well, you just, television can't do it justice. The color, the fans having a good time. You know, this is an experience. It's not just a race. The fans up here are having a great time. It's not. You'd probably think inside here it'd be really smoky and nasty, but it's not. It's very nice in here. But I'm having a great time myself. It's just you just can't describe it in words. There's all the wrecks, the passing that you can see the whole thing from right here. It's terrific. There's nothing like the Chili Bowl.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Now, Bob Patterson, you look at what Lucas has done. Last night, we had a 1 hour free on internet to have a look-see for fans could see what the Chili Bowl is about, and then tonight, really 5 hours of uninterrupted coverage, what you guys have done. This is big, not only for the Chili Bowl, but for short track racing in general.
Well, it's been a team effort. We have New Wave Studios from Chicago here helping us. The people from the Lucas Oil Studios out in California, we came out here. Emmett Hahn, the whole staff at the Chili Bowl, they've just been wonderful to help us get this on film, prepare the HBO special and the internet broadcast last night. We want to give people at home a sense of what this Chili Bowl event is all about. This is my first time here. I've heard about it, I've read about it, but I had no idea. You have to experience the Chili Bowl to really get a sense of the magnitude of this event, and this is what we're trying to convey with this HBO broadcast. And if you've never been here, HBO Live, the way the studios have put this broadcast together, it's the next best thing.
Real quick, are we going to be back here again next year?
Well, I certainly hope so. This is a unique event. It's worth the price of admission, and if Emmett and the good friends of it at the Quick Trip Center will have us back, we'd love to be here.
All right, well, we're in row 4. Is everybody having a great time? And I got to show you, Ken, your cousin is up here. If I have my camera pan up to the stands, there's your cousin with his sunglasses and crown.
Oh yeah, he's got his headgear on. I see him now. All right, let's go down to Rob as well.
Well, Matt Yelkin, you think the VIP section is exciting? Holy cow! Right here in the main grandstands behind turns 3 and 4. I don't think the VIP section has anything on these guys. We got a lot of folks here from different states. We talk about all the drivers from across the country, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all here tonight. Right now, let's meet some of the fans. We got fans from, where are you guys from?
Wisconsin!
It's mayhem up here, guys. I tell you what, Kelsey, the biggest Brady Bacon fan in the world. You watched him at the shootout. He picked up a win. How are you liking his chances here tonight at the Chili Bowl?
I'm loving him. Oh my goodness, I'm totally loving him.
Where's your Brady Bacon shirt? I don't see any bacon material.
I wore it on Thursday when he really raced.
I think you guys would make a good match. You know, we called him Bacon Bit last year because he's, just a young kid.
I am Bacon Bit. I am Bacon Bit. I love Brady Bacon!
How about that, guys? I tell you what, a lot of action. It's always fun at the Chili Bowl. And Ken Stout, I will have to say, I know Yoko was over in the VIP section. Wow, unbelievable.
In case you're wondering, Ken, they do have beer available at the Chili Bowl.
And they're probably partaking in that very sweet nectar, no doubt. Well, we showed you the VP and, of course, the president of Lucas Oil Products. We also had some help from the O'Reilly people as well. We thank them very much. With more on that, let's go down to Kenny.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has been a part of the Chili Bowl for the last 9 years, and really O'Reilly Auto Parts is one of the bigger grassroots sponsors when it comes to motorsports. Eli Gardner with O'Reilly Auto Parts joins me here. Why so much involvement in grassroots and motorsports in general?
Well, it's just great to be involved. Every one of these guys out here are our customer every day. They're the guys that's walking through the store. And the Chili Bowl is just a great venue. I mean, you don't find a more prestigious event where you see the names of Tony Stewart and Casey Kane that get out here and put on a great event for all these fans.
That's true, because you have a choice of venues to get involved in across the country. Why specifically the Chili Bowl?
Well, like I say again, it's just such a prestigious event. If you look around here, every one of these people that you see keep coming back year after year after year, and it's the fastest selling event in motorsports. I mean, you can't buy a ticket to this event. It's like no other event on television.
And I got to be honest, the majority of these teams don't have a whole lot of money like the Canes or the Stewarts. They like to take a little bit of that O'Reilly money home to replenish the team of the money they may have lost here putting this thing together.
Absolutely, and we have over 35 race series associations that are sponsored this weekend that are representing O'Reilly's here. That's just one of the 1,500 events that we're doing in 2008.
It's always great to have that support from those types of folks. I mean, it's very important to make an event like this fly, and of course the payout for the racers, and it costs a lot of money obviously to get this production up and going as well. So right now we're going to go back down to Kenny Sargent, who's with Jason Leffler, and we'll find out, well, there's no telling what Kenny Sargent might be doing here.
Jason Leffler, of course, running the Chili Bowl tonight, and I just kind of walked right by you. I didn't recognize you in these street clothes. I'm used to all the flash and pomp and circumstance of the fire suit and the helmet, but kind of liking the do here.
Well, thanks. It's courtesy of Great Clips, my sponsor, so makes it's convenient. But yeah, it's always a fun time here at the Chili Bowl. For people that haven't been here, man, it's a great time for the fans and the racers. The racing's good, the partying's good, the atmosphere is awesome. So. We keep coming back, and I haven't won this race yet, and hopefully this year's the year.
Leffler, let's be honest, it's you and me talking. This isn't even a quarter-mile track. You walk out there, you're right, the partying, the atmosphere is good. What is the real big draw for a Cup driver, a Busch driver, excuse me, a Nationwide driver, or a truck series driver like yourself to come here and win?
Well, I think you get a lot of great drivers from different aspects of racing, whether it's dirt late model or dirt sprint car, wing sprint car.
So it's like a true race of champions.
It is, and the racing's good. It's an indoor small track, but there's usually two groups of racing. Midget's one of the funnest forms of racing to drive because they're so out of control. You know, you're bouncing up on two wheels, or you're doing a wheelie on two wheels, or you're going around the outside of a guy, inside of a guy, you're banging wheels with them. So all in all, it's fun, and on top of it, there's really nothing else going on in the middle of January. So.
Let's say you make the A or the B main for the big finale, of course, tonight, Saturday night, and it's between you and Tony Stewart. You could take him out to win the thing, or you're going to get second place. What would you do?
I'll take him out. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this is a big race, and I'm here to do one thing, and that's win. It's a funny story because I was lucky. I rode here with Casey Kane, and he got himself a new airplane, you know, and his pilot said, "Now don't take Casey out." And I said, "Hey, if I got to get a commercial ticket to go home Sunday, it'll definitely be worth it."
Well, we are just moments away from starting the 22nd running of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl presented by General Tire, and there's some of the fans. Well, I don't know how she managed to stay that clean out here because there's a lot of dirt. I mean, this is a quarter-mile dirt track, and everybody's having some fun, but we're not far away here. We do have our 24 contestants, and the girls are having a great time. They love the drivers that are out here. Speaking of that, we had some female drivers out here as well, Dave.
Absolutely. You know, you see it's still very difficult for a young lady to break into this and get all the way to the top, but every year we have a few more that are trying. Out of 288 cars, I'm not sure exactly how many ladies we had. Boy, that's a cool hat.
Well,
right
yeah, and shirt, obviously. Yeah. You know, but seeing him, it reminded me of something else that you guys are a very special part of, and you as well, Pat. The Hall of Fame inductees that were here.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, Friday, we had the National Midget Auto Racing Hall of Fame inductions, a class of 10 for this year. Pat and I were MCs of the event. A really nice thing. Typically, they've had it somewhere else. They moved it to Tulsa this year to make it an annual event. It's going to be a nice part of the Chili Bowl going forward.
Right now, we're going to send it back down to Rob Klepper.
Well, Ken Stout checking out the racetrack, a lot of track prep. You can imagine over this 5-day period of the Chili Bowl, a lot of mud here. You talked about it early, 600 and some odd loads of mud and clay on this racetrack. A lot of water, a lot of prep. We'll take a look at the racetrack right now. They'll bring out what we call a tiller. They'll till this thing up a couple inches. They'll kind of flip that dirt over. They'll send the trucks back out and they'll dump water on it. You can see right here, it's very muddy on this racetrack, and that, of course, makes it tacky. The tackier it is, the stickier it is. We can see as we walk across this thing that our feet will stick a little bit. So what's going to happen here when it stays a little bit tacky is those cars, they'll hook up in the corner. That's when we see them lay on the right rear. The front end gets up in the air, and that's what makes it very exciting to be here at the Chili Bowl. So the track prep is crucial. As the crews back there now will see the track prep. They haven't seen a track like this all day long. Going to have to throw some things at these race cars to try and make them fast. Larry Rice is a former driver coming into a race like this. Of course, when you see the track prep crew, what will you have to do to get this thing fast after they work on the track, I should say?
Well, it looks like they've made this racetrack very tight, so that the guys are going to have to rethink. The guys that ran all those races, the B's, C's, they're going to have to rethink because the racetrack appears it's going to be a lot tighter in the feature.
All right. Of course, as we take a look at Dave Darling, a lot of history with him. There's also a lot of history in the hardware that they're going to earn here tonight, and that's called the Golden Driller. Crash.
The best of the best in athletes are generally known as such by a trophy. The NFL has the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Hockey, the Stanley Cup. Soccer, the FIFA World Cup. And then the granddaddy in motorsports, it's that one given out every month of May to the Indy 500 winner, the Borg Warner Trophy. However, very closely approaching the status of that Borg Warner is a very small replica of my guy here, the Golden Driller, given out to the Chili Bowl winner every January. Now, this guy has had a pretty tough life. Let's talk about him for just a second. In the 50s, he was erected as a statue outside of the petroleum expositions, but garnered so much attention and had so much demand that this permanent guy was installed in 1966 right here in Tulsa. Hey, since then, the guy's been shot at in the front, he's had an arrow stabbed in his back, he's been vandalized, he's survived numerous tornadoes. This guy has had a pretty tough life. Kind of like the toughness of our 4-day event inside there in the Chili Bowl. So just remember, tonight, when your winner is hoisting up the Golden Driller Trophy, remember, it's this toughness that it's resembling. Hey, whoever coined that phrase, it's not about winning or losing, but how you play the game or run the race. Ha! They didn't know about our guy here, the Golden Driller.
And that guy, just so you know at home, is probably 50, 60, 70 feet tall. And the fact that he has survived all the tornadoes that have come through here is just spectacular. Once again, we're going to go back down trackside.
And standing alongside Casey Kane and his driver Brady Bacon, who's in his 4th Chili Bowl. Now, first off, Jason Leffler mentioned that you just bought a brand new plane. It's maiden flight. If I give you a suggestion, I would try to win tonight to help pay some of that plane off.
Yeah, I need to start winning a lot, whether it's here, next Sprint Cup, whatever. But yeah, we had a good flight out, had a lot of fun, and excited for this race. The track looks a lot different. I mean, Brady are just kind of talking about it. He's been telling me he's going to beat me at this race for about 2 months, so we'll see tonight. But he made it. He did a good job in the B main, and so did all my guys. They did good tonight. We got 2 in, and I think we could easily add 4 in the right circumstances.
I know you're very proud of your open wheel team, but now you're down inside turn 4. The trucks are packing in the track. Now, what are you and Brady going to be looking at to try to get a good idea of what the track's telling you when you get ready for the same main event?
Well, this, it's been doing the same thing all week long, but they just got it a lot wetter and cut it a lot deeper than what they have. So it'll probably just take a little bit longer before it starts slicking off. And but there's a lot of cars out there that are going to be going all over the racetrack, so it'll go away pretty quick, probably 20 laps, and
real
like the beast.
And real quick, now we saw his fan club, the Bacon Bits, up in the stands.
He's got lots of them. There's a lot of 16 to 18-year-olds running around here after Brady Bacon.
What's the best advice he's ever given you?
Just do your own thing, He helps me out a lot everywhere we go, and, he's been successful, so I listen to him every chance I get.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Now all the drivers are down inside the infield here. Rob, on your end, who's walking the racetrack?
Well, Matt Yoakum, a lot of race car drivers cruising around the racetrack. One guy that must have it all ready to go is Brian Clausen. Now, back in 2006, you were running full-time in USAC National Midgets and Sprints. Got into a pretty bad accident there at Lucas Oil Speedway in Missouri. Haven't been on the dirt since that wreck. What about the Chili Bowl this year? Welcome back to the dirt.
It's been an awesome time. To get back on the dirt. It's like being back home, and after a year and a half, it kind of just came back, which was a little surprising. And more laps we run, the better we've been getting. So 50 laps should be fun tonight, and be able to wreak a lot of havoc.
Currently in the Chip Ganassi Driver Development Program. What do they have you doing in 08? You've been running some ARCA stuff and a lot of testing in Bush and Truck for 08 as well.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of the same mixture of the Bush and ARCA stuff, and then anytime I can get back and run some midgets and sprint cars, I do so. It's I have a lot of fun getting back to go and do that stuff, and getting to run for guys like Keith Coons and Pete Willoughby and everybody at the Keith Coons Motorsports team. It makes it a lot of fun, and to get out, to be able to come out here and get these opportunities to run one of their cars at the Chili Bowl, it's just it's been a lot of fun.
Brian Clausen back on the dirt. He'll start 12th. Over to Matt Yoakum.
Now, Rob, we talked a lot about how unique this event is and all the fans from 44 states, 2 countries, Australia and Canada, but you never really felt like maybe, well, I'm not really sure what state this race fan's from. But Ken, you sure do have a lot of relatives here.
Well, you know what? I bet his hair's going to look really nice when he's finished with that.
Ken, you said your mother was coming out, but wow.
A lot of fun out here, obviously, at the Chili Bowl. And, of course, we rely on all of our sponsors to help us out. And another great one is General Tire.
It is the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl presented by General Tire. Travis Roffler, Marketing Director with General Tire. And other than the obvious reasons, this is your first time involved with the Chili Bowl. Why?
Well, it's anybody who's been here. It's an incredible venue and a fantastic form of racing. It's you know, 4 days, over 60,000 people show up to this venue. You can see it, it's packed right now.
This is your first time here like myself. I walk in here and I was just blown away by the ambiance, the party. General Tire coming in now. This is something you want to be a part of for long term, right?
Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. It is awesome, and all these people need tires, and we build a tire for every type of truck or vehicle out there. So we look forward to being here for quite some time.
He's right. Everybody needs a tire or four, General Tire.
I will proudly say that they are on all four corners of my car. As you take a look at some of the competitors here, just about to come out for the 22nd running here of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl. We're about to kick things off here in 2008, and who knows, maybe Tony Stewart will get back-to-back wins like he did in 07 as he won in Fort Wayne. Probably the last midget race of the year, and coming out here in the first midget race of the year as we talk about Tony Stewart, and he's obviously going to try to double up. Pat?
You're right. He was very masterful indeed at Fort Wayne, and he has got that look.
All right, let's go back down the mat.
Now, we talked a lot about French Grimes being the oldest guy here. Now, I'll tell you, Cole Witt, you're not the youngest. How old are you?
16. But, I mean, there's a lot of older guys and some younger guys here, and it's a tough deal, but I think we'll be all right. I mean, I've been running for 2 years now on the dirt and just kind of getting the hang of it and getting better every time out. So hopefully we'll get really good tonight and be able to pull off a win.
In the A-Main, going for the Golden Driller, but for the young fans at home, what age did you start racing?
I started running go-karts when I was like about 7 to 8. I got to start with my cousin Brandon. So he used to run Craftsman truck, and we just been running. Ran go-karts for a while, and then just got better and better. And, just kind of worked my way up, and then this is the next step for NASCAR or wherever you want to go from here. So just got to get going and kind of prove to ourselves to a lot of people out there, and hopefully we'll impress the right people.
Flash bulbs going off, driver intros, the fans have packed this place. What does it mean to you to be here tonight amongst the who's who, not just of dirt racing, but the who's who of just about every racing discipline?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's people from everywhere else, but it's a tough deal, and we'll see what happens, so.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And you know, Mike Tetra from Top Card actually bought him a go-kart, trying to get him back inside of one. He cut his teeth at Mark Dismore's Newcastle Motorsports Park out there on go-karts. And we take another look there at Dismore. Once again, we'll go back down to Rob.
Been with that guy all week.
Well, Ken, Bobby Mignovich ran second to Tony Stewart in that B-main event, former USAC Ford Focus champion. Been running some sprint cars the last couple of years, but back in a midget here at Chili Bowl. First time in the A-main event, Bobby. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, this is our second trip here. I ran sprint cars the 80s and 90s, and I retired and just can't get away from it. Come back. We came here last year and ran in the C and ran the midget once or twice after that. We come back and we made the A this week, so my team's been great. We have a great week.
Talk about a little bit of the ambiance of the Chili Bowl. It's a big event, it's a big race. Obviously, you're here to win, but a lot of fanfare, a lot of things going on. How about this whole week for you?
Yeah, I was surprised last year when I came. I'd never been here before, and I'd heard about it, and I thought, yeah, whatever. And it's a neat deal. I've not seen this since I was a kid. I raced quarter midgets my whole life when I was a kid, from when I was 5 to 16, and you'd go to the national event in the summer, and there'd be everybody from everywhere in the country. And you'd find out who the best in the country was, and that's kind of what this deal is. And a lot of money, a lot of good teams. The NASCAR guys shock the hell out of me that they can get out of a 2,000-pound whatever NASCAR and come here and jump in these and haul ass. I can't believe they can do it.
Well, they certainly can do it. You're going to be chasing a bunch of them here tonight. Do you have the car to get to the front?
I don't know. I guess we got one hell of a race car. Ron Bach put together a great car, and Ray Stansbury built it, Joe Richardson works on it, and I get to drive it and help out, and we got a car to beat everybody here. And we don't have a lot of money, but we're here.
He's got a bright race car, but easy to see. Bobby Mignovich, guys, starting mid-pack. We'll go back to Matt Yoakum.
Well, down inside turn 3 is the trucks, the Ford Broncos and Jeeps, and the Blazers all packing in this racetrack, and Tony Stewart's watching. Now, first off, for the fans at home, look at the racetrack and kind of give them an idea of what you're looking at, what you're trying to take in as you get ready for the main event.
Well, the hard thing right now is you're trying to not get your car too good at the beginning and to where it's going to be loose at the end. So, you know, it's got a lot more moisture in it than it had right before we went out for the bees here. So we'll just try to lock our shocks down a little more and keep it from being real soft, and try to take some grip away from it so to get around the corner at the beginning. But they put a lot of water in it. It's going to give it a lot of grip right now. So there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be really tight, and their cars are going to be rearing up and everything. So it'll be exciting. But we're trying to get our car good the last 15 laps, not the first 15 laps.
Now, for some of the new open wheel fans that are watching this pay-per-view event on HBO, and you're talking about adjusting shocks and different terminology like that, give them the layman terms for what you're talking about.
Well, shocks go in and out, and we're able to, from the cockpit, be able to adjust them and make them stiffer either on compression on the downstroke, or stiffer on the rebound, or softer by turning the knobs. So we're able to kind of help our cars out by adjusting the shocks. Some of these guys have adjusters for all 4 corners. I've got them on 3 corners, so it gives us a lot of ability inside the car to actually help ourselves out. If our cars are too tight or too loose, it lets us be able to adjust and help our handling of the car from inside while we're driving, instead of having to do pit stops, since we don't get to do those.
Now, when you won with Keith Coons, now Keith was standing about maybe 40 yards behind us back when you won your first Chili Bowl, and at one point under caution, you came by and looked at him, and what did he do? Because at that point, you guys really didn't know what to do with the way the track was changing.
We both went, we didn't know what to do, so that's when you just got to wing it. I mean, that's when your instincts got to kick in, and you got to take a stab at it. I mean, you got 23 other, the other 23 guys that are starting this are 23 of the baddest open wheel drivers in the country. So, there's times when you don't know for sure what you do. I mean, that's why you'll have guys running the bottom, you'll have guys running the top, and everybody's going to be moving around trying to find what's the perfect spot on the racetrack. So that's what makes this kind of so cool, is they kind of redo the track in between them, right before the A main here. So it's kind of a guessing game. We all got to guess of where we need our chassis to be and how to set them up for the A main to be good.
All right, good luck tonight.
Thanks, man.
Ken?
We'll get him back in the race car in just a couple of moments. In the meantime, we're going to go back down to Kenny Sargent, who's with one of the biggest characters here. And yes, he is a sponsor. His name's Rico, and he says size does matter.
Rico Elmore, CEO, Fatheads Eyewear, and of course part of Team Lucas and sponsors of Corey Kruseman, 2-time midget champion here at Chili Bowl. Corey Kruseman, you got another champion, Tracy Hines, who you grew up with. You must have some stories about Hines.
Yeah, we've got a few stories, but have sworn to secrecy, so we're keeping it safe.
That's probably the smart thing to do with Hines. He could be pretty venomous with his responses, can't he?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised in Indy, like yourself, this is your first time here at the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl?
Yes, first time. Was amazed with it. I've done, open wheel racing for years, and there's nothing like it.
Wow, that's the corporate Rico. I didn't know he even existed. He's a lot of fun to be around. He has some great products as well, and make sure you check him out whenever you get a moment. Well, now we're going to go back down to Rubbs. We keep these guys busy.
Well, Ken, getting ready for the 22nd running of the Chili Bowl Nationals, the Throttle. Shane Cottle out of Kokomo, Indiana. First Chili Bowl back in 2000, man. You finished second. Must have thought it was pretty easy. You're starting 9th here tonight. Can you get to the front?
Yeah, I think we got a pretty good shot at the car. It's been fast all week long, and the track's going to be fast, and it's going to be hard to pass early, and we'll just have to play it. The car's right, hopefully we'll be in front at the end.
How much of a problem is it that they went and prepped the track and it's all changed from last time you've been on?
We kind of figured they was going to work it up, so hopefully, Daryl Socher's got it, set up perfect, and we can win this thing for him.
Shane Cottle, guys, he's won track championships back in the Hoosier State. He's won 2 USAC Indiana Midget Championships. He'll be pretty tough here tonight. We'll go back over to Matt Yoakum.
And Rob, over on the front stretch, John Stambro putting on the balaclava. First off, you're starting outside row 3. You look at the majority of the winners here. You have to start up front, and you've got a great spot tonight.
Yeah, we're pretty close to the front. I know we've got a good race car, but everybody in front of us is fast, and we're just going to have to stay out of trouble at least halfway through and see what the racetrack does, and hopefully make the right adjustments with my driving style and shock adjustments, and hope that the car's where we need to be at the end of the race and try to go for the win.
Do you prefer to be up top or on the bottom?
I really like to be on the top, but you know, if I've got to go on the bottom or the middle, wherever I got to go, I'm going to go to try to win the race.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Stanbro's best win in this event came 1 year ago. He was 6. Ken?
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to shout out to Ken, to Jan Breedlove, a family member of Shane Cottle. She's been hospitalized for a little while in Indiana, and she's not able to be out here this weekend. And I know back home, the Cottle family, and Jan, she's a Shane Cottle super fan. She's all tuned up and ready to see him have a good night.
Well, we'll see if the Throttle can bring home a win. His best finish, second place in 2000, Pat.
I'll tell you, right now we have all the hoopla. The fans are cheering. I've been here 21 times, and right now this is really a bittersweet moment. This event is nearly come to conclusion. You sit around people who you see only once a year, and all of a sudden you're ready to say goodbye to them and look forward to 2009.
The fans are ready to go. They have the goggles on, some of them with the mask on. We're going to show you our starting grid here for the prestigious 22nd running of the Chili Bowl. And we'll go with the front row, Josh Ford and Damian Gardner.
Row 2 is the 71 of Brad Kuhn. To the outside, the master, Dave Darland.
In row 3, it'll be the 7F of Aaron Fiskus and the 05S of John Stanbro.
Row 4, we see Jason Leffler to the inside. To the outside, one of the favorites, Jerry Coons Jr.
Dropping back to row 5, it'll be 1ST, Shane Cottle, the Throttle, alongside 16-year-old Cole Witt.
Row 6 is Casey Kane in the 91 alongside 67, Brian Clausen.
Let's go back to row number 7. That's where you'll find the number 20, Tony the Smoke Stewart. 39, Kevin Swindell, right alongside.
Row 8 is Bobby Misnowitz, outside 21, Tracy Hines.
And in row 9, Jesse Hockett with the 29L, and he'll line up alongside Terry McCarl, who's done a lot of work here tonight.
Row 10 now, deep in the field, Davey Ray in the 33. To the outside, his teammate, 67A, Bubba Alpick.
In row 11, it'll be Brady Bacon in the 99 and the 20J of Levi Jones.
And the last row 12, Billy Weiss alongside another number 12, Nathan High. Let's hear from Rob.
Well, guys, Aaron Fiskus right here out of the great state of Wisconsin, getting ready for a big Chili Bowl. Amen, man. What are we going to see inside row number 3?
Yeah, hopefully we're going to get her done here. Got to thank everybody at home. They're out there watching me, rooting me on. Kind of an underdog here. We're going to get out there and run with the big boys and see what we can do.
Aaron Fiskus, guys, got a good starting spot. He will move up to the front for sure. The Wisconsin, the Badger driver, big fan favorite here tonight.
Well, the fans, they just are none greater. You know, we saw the gentleman there with the breast enhancements. I don't think those cost $2,000 to $4,000 to $6,000. You know, I think you probably just go down and buy those for anywhere for, you know, a couple bucks. So.
I'm just thinking that poor guy, his mom might be watching this show.
Let's go to Matt.
Ken, all night long we've talked about second and third generation racers, and one man that's probably the busiest gentleman here all week at the Chili Bowl is Roger Slack from York, Ontario. Now, as a young kid, he was 10 years old. He was flagging go-kart races. His dad was a racer. His grandfather owned a racetrack, Cayuga, up in Canada. Now, one day he was standing atop a hauler. He was 14 years old, and he was with his flags, flagging modifieds. And Glenn Donnelly, legendary promoter at Rolling Wheels, said, you know what? He's already flagging, just playing around. Let's put him up in the flag stand. 19 years he's been a professional flagman. And oh yes, by the way, this week he was on vacation. What's his normal job? He's vice president of events at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in North Carolina.
So what do you do when you go on vacation? Of course, you go racing.
You go to the Chili Bowl, that's for sure.
Absolutely, in January.
Important to point out that he was named the Promoter of the Year by the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame because of the events on the dirt track at Lowe's.
How about these fans? I mean, talk about a college, bowl game feel, if you will. These people are going crazy. You see a lot of stuff in the stands. I want to point out, these are very educated fans. While they're having a great time, you won't see that stuff end up on the racetrack.
No, these people come here, they know it, they have fun, they have a great time, but there's nothing that goes on the racetrack. They're very conscientious of what happens and how much danger these guys are in out on the racetrack.
You know what's really cool is I think throughout the course of the night we've talked to everybody in this feature event, but you know, some guys we talk to a lot, some guys we talk to a little, but right now as they push them off, you can't really pick a favorite, because I can tell you there's 12 to 15 guys. If they'd win it, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Very, very tough field of race cars.
Let's tag on that, Dave Arterbright. You're absolutely correct. You use the analogy, a bull-like experience. Indeed, like the parody we've seen recently in college sports, very different from Chili Bowl 1. Chili Bowl 1, there were 3, 4, maybe 5 cars that can win. The equipment here now is superb. As a result, we have many, many people who can win this event, and many who are unknown, even to a few pretty educated fans.
Well, and that is the beauty of what we're watching here. It's because it can go any way at any direction. These guys can't use all the horsepower they have. It comes back to the setup of the car, it comes back to the driver, and it comes back to Lady Luck.
And that's what's so unique about this event. We've seen these big teams with 7, 8 cars, haulers that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. There's guys here that haul and don't have very much money. They spend their last dime to come out here and just have fun. But a couple of them have a pretty good shot of winning this race. And I can tell you about the horsepower. I talked to one of the big teams yesterday. They had some telemetry on their race car. They said during the feature event, their driver didn't get over 45% throttle the whole race. Now it's going to be not like that now because they've reworked that racetrack. But sometimes you got to have finesse.
Now we're going to take you for a ride here during the A feature. We'll go on board.
Dave Darling we're riding along with right there. So Dave Darling, we're going to get a good shot of him looking back behind him.
We'll also go on board with Jerry Coons.
Jerry Coons, the guy that's going to be give us a good ride. He starts back in about the 4th row, so he's going to be have a lot of guys in front of him.
We'll have the General Tire sponsored onboard camera with Casey Kane up over the top of his helmet.
Casey worked very hard to get in this A-main event, showed a lot of patience to get himself in a position to perhaps strike.
And we'll go on board, of course, with Tony Stewart. That one's sponsored by Fatheads.
Well, all 4 of those guys have an excellent chance to win this race, but just like we've talked about before, so do another 10 or 15 guys. It's amazing.
But Larry, we talked a lot about luck in this event, but we began this telecast with you going over the list of some of the winners. Guess what? They're who's who in short track racing. So, as always, the cream usually rises to the top.
Well, it'll be interesting to see as we have some of the guys. I mean, we got Terry McCarroll who started in the C main and Levi Jones who started in the C main. They start deep in the field. If they can run as good as they have in those two, they might make a big impact in this race.
By the way, there will be a Lucas Oil camera on Tony Stewart and not the Fatheads.
You know, if Tony Stewart can repeat, Larry, it's going to be historic because he's starting 14th. Nobody has ever won it from that far back.
Tony Stewart races for pride. He told me one time that he's won a race in every kind of race car he's ever driven. And he told me, we were talking about running off-road races. He said, I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm not sure I can win without doing it a lot. So he said, I don't want to run anything I can't win in.
Years ago in his backyard, he showed me his little racetrack in which we can run mini bikes. And he said, if you happen to be in front of me right there, I'm running you into that tree that's right over there.
Well, and we heard that from some other drivers here, you know, given the opportunity. What did Tracy Hines say? I'll spit him out.
Oh, yeah. Tracy Hines' father, when he first came up, he didn't want anything to do with racing when he was very young. He finally came to his dad and says, yeah, I think I do want to do this after all. My brother's doing it. I think I want to do it. And he says, okay. He says, you be in the garage every night all summer long, and maybe next year I'll let you run. And that's the way he broke in. His dad was very tough on him, made him learn how to work on those cars before he got to drive.
And that always pays off. We hear it time and time again as they give these guys a few hot laps. It looks like they're going to work the track in a little bit. And keep in mind, we talked about it before, some of these guys have not raced since Wednesday night.
And the other thing, Ken, and I want Larry to touch on this a little bit, how difficult is it going to be with this changing racetrack?
It's going to be very difficult. They put a lot of water on that racetrack. That's one of the reasons they're letting them kind of hot lap, because it looked a little slimy, as we saw when Rob was down there putting his finger on it. There was water on top. So they want to get some of that water off of there. But it's going to go from very tight to very slick. 50 laps is the longest race they run here, twice as long as any other race they run here all week long. So by the end, and most of the guys, you heard Tony Stewart talk about it, and Casey Kane, that you got to set it up for the last 15 or 20 laps, not the first 15 or 20. And if you go backwards for a few laps, you've got to be patient and wait till the racetrack comes to you.
And that looks like Bubba Altig right off the bat. Unfortunately for him, looks like issues here in the hot laps.
He may have slid up and hit that barrier right there in turn 3. He's awfully close to it. I can't imagine they would have just pushed him over there.
Yeah.
Well, you can see kind of the hay has been destroyed a little bit there. So it could be in the entry of turn 1 as well. There are 2 opens there.
You wonder if he got into the greasy stuff and just pushed right up in there.
That's exactly what happened. It was so wet up there, he got up there and just pushed into the greasy stuff and almost came to a stop.
Larry Rice, your prediction? Who's going to win this thing?
This is one of the toughest fields I've ever looked at to try to win. If I was to pick a guy right now, I'd have to say John Stanbro has an excellent chance. He's had a terrific year, and he starts in the first 3 rows.
Dave Argerbright?
I've got to go with Dave Darland as well. He's been kind of quiet with that Toyota power. I think he's got the car to do it tonight.
Steve Lewis came to Chili Bowl 1 as a driver. He comes back with Dave Darland. I was asked earlier in the week. He's my prediction, Dave Darland.
Matt Yoakum, who are you picking, bro?
I'm going to go with the young man from Long Beach, California, Jason Leffler. His first time ever at the Chili Bowl, he was a crew member for Slam and Sammy Swindell, went to Victory Lane, and he lost to Sammy back in '98 when Sammy caught him in traffic. Tonight could be his night. He's my pick to take home the Golden Driller.
And Rob Klepper.
Well, guys, you didn't say it, so I'm going to throw it out there. He's about mid-pack, but from Kokomo, Indiana, the throttle is Shane Cottle in the 1ST. It's on his car. First, Shane Cottle will take home the Chili Bowl.
Well, I was going to go with Bubba, but I'm going to change my mind now. Just kidding. I actually was going to go along with you, Dave. I do think Dave Darland, he had that magic for the first time in his career at the Turkey Night Grand Prix. He's rolling in here. He's been strong all week long. I think he's got the magic here to pull it off.
And Ken, it's a sentimental pick as well. Dave Darland, you'll never find a nicer guy in this sport. If you'd ask a poll across all these fans, nobody would ever root against Dave Darland, a great racer.
I will tell you, if I had pick number 2, I'd have to go with Damian Gardner because that guy was aggressive. He's got a great starting position. He knows how to drive. We can't, and there's a look at him right there, the number 71, Pace sponsorship on that one. A unique sponsorship as well at Pace Electronics, and they actually make like the lights that you see, the exit signs that you see. So a little different than the typical sponsorship you might see out here.
And I think we're going to see some very aggressive racing early on, for better or for worse, between the 3 top cars here. Josh Ford, Damian Gardner, and Brad Kuhn are all pretty aggressive racers. I think Dave Darland may lay back just a little bit, but we may see those 3 cars really go at it hard early in this race.
Something we haven't seen here the past couple of evenings as this track is slicked off are the big wheel stands. I promise you, we're going to see some wheel stands at the start of this race, maybe up through midway.
And the wheel stands aren't as dangerous as the bicycle. Getting in too hot and the right side of the car sticks, because then you tip over or turn around in a hurry. You got no time to recover.
Looks like they're carrying Bubba Altig off, and his night will end before he even gets a shot at it. You make the A feature here for the first time in your career, and unfortunately during hot laps, you have an incident like that. That is a true heartbreaker.
And you feel bad, you do that kind of stuff, but hey, veteran racers make those kind of mistakes. It's slippery, they got up into the greasy stuff, and that's the end.
And we're going to go down to Rob, who is with Bubba Altig.
Well, guys, Bubba Altig very upset, obviously out of tonight's Chili Bowl, very distraught as he cruises back to the pit area. Said he didn't want to talk right now. He didn't have the words to say, so unfortunately, Bubba Altig will not make the call for tonight's Chili Bowl.
And that's when I don't want to be a pit reporter, because it's such a tough thing to do. You want to hear from that guy, but he's embarrassed. He feels terrible right now.
And it's pretty cool to see his family walking with him like that. You make a mistake, you're human. It happens all the time.
Absolutely.
You got to be with him and just get his chin up. Hey, it happens. Get over it and move right on.
You said it best. It happens to everybody. So the only thing you can do is take a little time and get over it. Just take a little bit of a little comfort in the fact that it does happen to everybody at some point in time.
And Ken, right now you got kind of a Times Square midnight feeling here, because the pace laps ticking off. They're going to go 4 wide in a minute. Everybody is standing in this place. The energy just about to blow the roof off of it. And we're just moments away from the start of this race.
Modern midget racing really started in 1933. And over the course of history, there have been races conducted in front of bigger crowds, particularly around World War II. There have been some races for some bigger money. But there is no question that this is the biggest midget race, if not short track race in America right now. It has grown to that stature.
Yeah, Ken Brenneman and Hap, we have those guys to thank back in the day who got together in 1932 and kicked off the first one in 33. And then, of course, we had the National Midget Championships that came together back in 1947. So these cars have quite a history, and known for the longest of times as the Mighty Midgets, because they'll come to little bull rings like this indoors and put on just a spectacular show.
And of course, the very first National Midget event that was held at Brainbridge, Ohio, was won in a car that was built and owned by Wally Pankratz' father, and his daughter, Randy, was a competitor here this weekend.
Absolutely, and we have those names here tonight. We talked about some of the history that's here.
Oh yeah, certainly, and it's, you know, the guys that have been here, their grandfathers, their fathers, a lot of them, it's a family sport. They've all grown up in this sport. And you know, Tony Stewart is one of the guys who didn't grow up. I mean, his father was in the go-kart racing, but he wasn't a part of it. They didn't have a lot of money, but they worked, they did what they could do, and he's truly come up from nothing to being at the pinnacle of the sport at this point.
Well, no question. I mean, he is about as high as you can get. And you know, you brought up a great stat. Let's talk about that real quickly. Tony Stewart was number 2 in the nation in donations.
Yeah, well, he was in the top 25 for contributions to charitable organizations. And in this list of 25, only Tiger Woods, as sports figures, was higher than he was. So that's an amazing stat to me. Of course, he gives all that money to Victory Junction every year, over $1 million. He's got his own foundation, so he does a lot of good things.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's the start of the 22nd running of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl, presented by General Tire. The green flag flies.
Josh Ford got a great start there. Damian Gardner falling in right behind him. Brad Kuhn bringing up the rear. We've got a yellow early.
And right off the bat, it will be number 99. So I'm a little earlier. Brady Bacon, who gets into trouble. But if you're going to get into trouble, do it early on. You still have 50 laps to take care of it, 49 laps.
No question. He was starting in the rear of the field anyway, so he's got to just kind of settle himself down. We're going to get a look at it right here, Ken.
Gets down on the inside of the racetrack. He gets squeezed down there, and they high-centered the car.
Looked like McCarl just kind of ran right down there on him, and he just had no place to go again, just trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, he was doing the right thing. McCarl came into him, but he got up on that thing and just high-centered it, and none of the wheels were touching the ground. Wasn't much he could do.
Watch that one go to work as that chassis flexes, the right rear squats a little bit on board with the Lucas Oil sponsored camera there with Tony Stewart.
Talking about guys doing wheelies, Damian Gardner did 2 wheelies on the very first lap, so he's got that race car set up very tight.
Larry, can they learn something already by what's happened?
Oh, I think they can, and you'll see guys who have adjusted the shocks right on that first yellow.
And again, the official restart for the 22nd running of the Chili Bowl, and we'll see if we can get a clean lap in here. Damian Gardner in the 71, a huge wheel stand out of Damian.
Yeah, the racetrack is extremely tight right now. You're going to see the guys who really are looking towards the end of the race. They're going to take it a little bit easy, just kind of bide their time, wait for this racetrack to slick off a little bit and come to them.
And you got to set your car up tight because you know what's going to happen later on.
It's going to get slicker. It's going to get slicker. You can see already they've moved up a couple of feet off of that pole with the crew. They're going to have to move it up a lot more before this thing is over.
And another huge wheel stand as you take a look at these guys running out through here. It is spectacular racing done on 2 wheels.
That's Shane Cottle on the inside of Aaron Fiskus down there trying to make the pass. Looks like he's faster, but he can't get by him yet.
And Jerry Coons looks even faster than Cottle, Larry. He's chomping at the bit, figuratively, to try to. Now he's got to move to the outside. Coons in that 11.
Go back, there's a look at Casey Kane as well. Casey Kane in the number 91, back up to the throttle. The 1ST, his 9th Chili Bowl, 4 top 10s and 2 top 5s, finished 2nd in 2000. There's a look at Smoke, Tony Stewart, working his way through the field.
Well, watch him work that wheel. Let's remember, he's already a member of the National Midget Hall of Fame.
Stewart now shown in 13th, Larry.
Yeah, and you can see him working that wheel, trying to keep that thing under control. It's very hard work, very physical work right now out there on that racetrack.
He's only 1 or 2 cars away from lining up alongside Casey Kane. Here's the leaders. This is the battle for the lead right here. Damian Gardner and the 71 right behind Josh Ford.
You can see they're already in the lap traffic, and that's going to play a huge part in this 50-lap race as they're running into this lap traffic.
On board with Casey Kane there.
Gardner makes a move to the inside. Looks like he's going to take the lead.
Right now, this is the Damian Gardner track, but will it be in the second half of the feature?
And how about McCarl? McCarl in danger of being lapped already.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult for these guys. These guys are going to give them a layover flag, but that doesn't mean you have to get out of the way. That just means there's one of the faster cars behind you, so you can race them if you want. Oh, look at this. Gardner just got around McCarl. Had to give him a little slide job to do it.
Yeah, it wasn't the easiest pass. Oh, and McCarl gets in the back of him, and that causes a chain reaction.
Wow.
Look at the 73. That was Josh Ford able to get back around. Another one of the 71s. I think that's the ex, possibly, of Brad Kuhn.
Brad Kuhn was running second right there, Ken, and a very tough break. He's not going to be very happy with Terry McCarl right here.
No, he certainly is not, and he has every right to be upset. McCarl being lapped, got a little sideways, and then, you know, really, Josh Ford is the one that did a great job there. He kept on the throttle. If he'd have gotten stopped, he would have had to go to the back. Now, because he kept that thing going, he's going to get his position back.
Boy, he just snuck by. Let's see if we can find out how it all got started. And it looks like, yeah, exactly right. Well, McCarl just got into the back of the 71 there, Damian Gardner.
Well, McCarl was trying to get his lap back. He didn't want to get lapped this early. And when he got sideways, you know, there was nothing that Brad Kuhn could do. But look at Josh Ford.
Wow.
He just stays on the throttle to keep that thing running.
That's amazing right there. Look at this. He's pinched and he's pushed clear to the outside. There's no way there's a lane, and he kept it going.
Squeaking through, man. He cleaned the wall off right there.
Well, he's going to be starting right behind Terry McCarl right now. I'm not sure that's exactly where Terry would like him to be.
You know, Brad Kuhn won that preliminary, and he said, I've been looking for a signature win. Larry, you introduced him. He's a two-time National Midget Driver of the Year, but he still needs that extra measure of recognition.
Now, everybody here, you know, wants to win this race. We heard McCready say, you know, once he won this race, you know, things opened up for him, and that's how important it can be.
Jegs jumping on board to help out Brad Kuhn, and it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. Hopefully he can bring Jegs to the winner's circle before it's all over with. We go back green.
Dave Darland third in that white number 9. Right behind him in the 05 is John Stanbro. Now Stanbro working on Darland here.
A couple of the picks that we all had in here working their way toward the front. Oh, is that Casey Kane losing a power plant?
Yeah, he's looks like that thing's smoking very badly. He's either lost the power steering or he's losing oil out of that thing, one or the other, but it certainly is smoking very badly right now.
Well, he's not going to let up. Looks like he's going to drive it into the ground as long as it'll go.
Well, we'll know. If that's a power steering that's going bad, he's going to be in big trouble because you can't drive one of these cars on this racetrack without power steering.
We can see these two side by side in another one. Tony Stewart, Casey Kane. That's the soil sponsored onboard camera giving us a great look. And look at his head just planted from the G-forces that want to sling it to the right side.
I think that's Kevin Swindell right behind him, giving him everything he wants right now.
Yeah, Kane finally gave up the ghost here. You see him pulling the tearaways. Larry, is there a chance he was just coated with oil?
Could be he was just coated with oil, but he was running very high. I tend to think his power steering went out. He was throwing power steering fluid because he kept running higher and higher and looked like he was less in control of the race car. But it still looked like it had plenty of power.
Well, a tough break for Casey Kane, who was taking another crack at it and hopefully able to bring home his first ever Chili Bowl win.
Yeah, he gets up there.
It just gave up. It looks like it locked up right there. I mean, if in fact it was a power plant, it could have just stopped and locked up the rear wheels.
Yeah. You can't tell from that angle whether how it was steering, but.
And the general, let's go down to Rob.
Well, guys, Brad Kuhn coming into the pits here. Don't know exactly what the crew's doing. Looks like they got some issues on the left rear torsion stop, trying to get that thing tight and push Brad Kuhn back out on the racetrack as Casey Kane goes by us, headed back to the pits. But Brad Kuhn, two-time National Midget Driver of the Year, in the pits, carrying the onboard cameras. Casey Kane is out of the Chili Bowl. Looks like we're back to green.
Brad Kuhn starting himself on the inside of the second row, and an excellent opportunity. It's not going to happen here tonight.
You have to wonder if some of that was related to the contact with Terry McCarl a little earlier.
I agree, absolutely. Going forward with Dave Darling right there. Dave Darling with the Royal sponsorship, and look at that one. That's the throttle, Shane Collins.
Dave Darling's in the front there, and here comes Tony Stewart
and
sliding Brady Bacon.
Man, just a star-studded event here, the biggest names in the business, and there's a Tony Stewart car right behind him, and Levi Jones.
Levi's really moved up well. He started deep in this thing.
Yeah, he's gone to the top where most of the guys haven't been running, and he's got the car loose enough that he can run the top. It's made a big difference for him so far.
There it is, 39, Kevin Swindell, the blue 39 down below. Brady Bacon, the 99 with the Mopar sponsorship on the outside, and the 20 of Levi Jones was just behind him. The caution flag will come out.
Man, they're running all over the racetrack. You can see, though, when some of those guys moved to the top, it was very rough up there. That's Cole Witt, who's pulled into the infield.
And Cole Witt had such a great story for us. There's a look, unfortunately, Brad Kuhn with a Jag-sponsored onboard shot there. A tough night for him, and he's not going to get a win here tonight.
Going up the ramp back to the pit area. Where was the problem was that he couldn't get back out with another yellow.
Let's go down to Rob.
Well, guys, back in the pit area, Casey Kane climbing out of the race car. A little debriefing rather with the crew. Casey, what happened out there?
I don't know. It started smoking, and then it just lost power. So disappointed. It's actually a really fun race, and I would have liked to stay out there a lot longer.
Well, Casey Kane will have to come back next year trying to win the Chili Bowl. Guys, a lot of oil underneath the hood. Looks like an oil filter possibly coming off the motor.
Larry, you had talked about they were struggling with some engine issues earlier in the week.
Yeah, they had struggled with them all weekend long, but they thought they had them solved. It was mostly injection, but obviously that wasn't an injection problem.
Go back on board with Dave Darling and a split box for you.
Here comes Shane Cottle to the inside and the 1ST brother. They have done that a whole bunch of times at the old Kokomo Raceway back in Indiana. Both of them with that little familiar bull ring, and here they are in the Chili Bowl trading fly jobs again.
And John Stanbro right behind him. It's like the midsummer weekly racing in Indiana for those three.
You can see that Damian Gardner actually pulling away from most of this field at this point in the racetrack. So we'll see if he can hang on to that kind of a lead. But right now, Shane Cottle seems to be the guy on the move.
What a spectacular shot there for Dave Darling, that onboard camera. Dave Darling trying to hang in there with that Steve Lewis fame, number 9. Wow. Oh, and a wheel stand coming out.
Caution.
Oh, man, a big old pile of cars here, and it looks like it's going to involve the number 12 car.
I think that may be Billy Weiss. Bobby Mishnowitz, too. You can see him.
Nathan High also.
Nathan High, who started on the tail, right?
A couple of 12s, actually, and McCarl.
Yeah, Terry McCarl is the other guy. So four of the guys, they were all running near the back of the field when they got together. But
we're going to push it off. You know, we saw Cole Witt in the last time, and we'll go back and take a look at this. We'll talk about Cole Witt in just a moment. See if we can find out what happened here just behind Tony Stewart.
Oh, looked like Tracy Hines actually got a little bit sideways, and everybody kind of piled up behind him. So
yeah, maybe McCarl was trying to avoid Tracy Hines, and of course that stacked everybody up.
Yep. Tracy Hines got bumped around straight, kept on going, and everybody else got stopped on the racetrack.
You know, Ken, one thing I'm surprised to see tonight is Jerry Coons Jr. going backwards. He started 8th. He's back to 12th now. I'm very surprised because he was one of the pre-race favorites. He's obviously a great midget racer. I don't know if maybe he's not got the car he needs, or maybe he's set up for the later stages of this race. He may be one of the guys we're talking about in 20 laps moving forward as we see him taking the cars off on the hook.
Yeah, Billy Weiss there, unfortunately, it looks like his night will end early.
Billy won indoors just recently in Fort Wayne, Indiana, but it's in a very different environment. Pavement, essentially a very small oval, but he's won some big races, including the Turkey Night Grand Prix in his career.
Well, they're almost halfway through this race. The groove has moved up some, but it appears like this racetrack is not going to slick off as much as most people had anticipated. But that's good news for Damian Gardner, because that's the kind of racetrack he likes.
And not only that, but it makes it a little more difficult to get a good run on him.
You know, I mentioned Cole Witt a little bit earlier. He did such a great job in his qualifier earlier this week. He had a moment to tell me, he says, you realize, He said it was just 2 weeks ago that 6 of these cars were not completed. Let's go down to Rob.
Well, guys, we're with JIG's Director of Motorsports, Scott Woodruff. And Scott, heading in car camera there on Casey Kane. Looks like his night's done a little early.
Hey, you know what? You never really, it's a gamble. You throw the dice. This is a great event. Everybody should come here. It's awesome. This is a great time. And, hey, you see a lot of future stars here.
Casey Kane was a future star, now a NASCAR star. It's good to see JIG's involved here at the Chili Bowl.
Casey's a current star. He'll always be a star, and we are so happy to be involved with him and a lot of other drivers like Gary Selzy and Danny Lasowski.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. Woody, a great individual as well there with JIGs. Always find him at a racetrack somewhere. Whoa, man, what a nice save. Are we building a little hole there?
The racetrack is running up on the top down in 3 and 4. We've seen 2 or 3 guys hit that. Looks like Shane Cottle has one up there, though, and he's not having near the trouble with those ruts as everybody else, for whatever reason.
Man, Shane Cottle shoots across the track.
That hole's the same place that upset Brian Clausen and Jerry Coons Jr. earlier in the week, so that may really develop.
Josh Ford, who was running second.
Gosh.
You can see the frustration side of the cockpit there.
Wow. That's what happens at the Chili Bowl. We said you got to be lucky as well as good, and sometimes, things go wrong.
Now that's 2 of the top 3 that have had trouble. Brad Kuhn first, and now Josh Ford.
And as you mentioned, Dave, you talked about Jerry Coons Jr. You blink your eyes, and all of a sudden, he's back in it.
See, that's what is so unbelievable about this place. You can go backwards. He almost bicycled it. That's that hole we were talking about down there between 3 and 4. He bicycled it, and when he did, the only thing you can do is turn it to the left, keep it from getting upside down, and when you do that, you get so far sideways, you're toast. You're done. You're going to stop.
And once again, we'll get them lined back up. Let's go back down to Rob.
Guys, Terry McCarl coming in here, and T-Mac, as we get ready to go green again. What happened out there, bud?
Oh, man, we had a great car. Just started coming to the front. I think we had a good shot of getting up there, and just got in that tangle back there. Wasn't our fault. The Wilkie Pack team was great, but it's unfortunate. I was having a blast.
Having a blast. Terry McCarl, we're going to see you in some midgets here in 08?
Well, you never know. I'd like to do something more with these guys so more comfortable next year. I got to thank all of our sponsors for being with us. So, great team, Mopar and all the guys.
Guys, teammate came out of the sea. His alphabet soup ends right now.
And once again, getting them lined up. We mentioned it earlier in the show. If you're just joining us for whatever reason, there is an orange cone here that these guys have to steer clear of, or they can be disqualified.
Yes, if you go under the orange cone on the restart, you will be sent to the back of the field.
A good shot of that orange cone as we get it started one more time.
We touched on it earlier. It's important to know right now.
Oh! Damian Gardner with a spectacular save, and it didn't even cost him a position.
That's about as far up as you can get it without going over right there. Wow.
And he kept it running and kept the lead. How can you do that?
It's like John Tyler Swayze. He took a licking and kept on ticking.
And 3 weeks ago, he wasn't even coming here. It was Jason Leffler called him up and said, come on, man, let's go racing. Jumping on board with Tony Stewart right there, courtesy of Lucas Oil.
He's back in 9th position. That's Brady Bacon right behind him. And you can see he's having some problems trying to move forward. He's running up on that cushion, but it's a little bit rough.
Boy, he's working hard.
Looks like Jerry Coons Jr. also working up in there, just behind Brady Bacon. Oh, and another wreck right here. It's going to be number 33.
Davey Ray.
And he was running in 8th position when that happened, so he's another one of the guys who have been running in the top 10 that's had a problem and spun out.
And it looks like Brian Clausen has made his way to 4th past John Stanbro. I started to note a moment ago that at that moment, the top 4 were great sprint car racers in this race here. There's
just side by side there. And it looks like Davey Ray got a little bit closer than he wanted to be. Had to check up the throttle just a little bit to keep from getting into the side of the 71.
Yep, and Levi Jones bumped him. Here comes Stewart right behind him. Everybody's scattering.
One more time. Is that Leffler?
Yeah. Levi Jones does a great job missing him right there. He did. He could have very easily got caught up in that thing and been stopped.
As did Brady Bacon. And we'll go back. Take a look at this. Up on 2 wheels with your leader. Here we go, man. Let's go for a ride. Wow. Hey, I know you guys remember the Joey Chitwood show. I mean, that's it right there, baby.
Next year, Gardner's coming back to the Chili Bowl with his sponsor painted on the bottom of the car. I guarantee you.
Mutual Omaha Insurance.
Joey Chitwood used to go all the way around the racetrack.
Right. But let me tell you, Ken, the difference was he didn't mean to do that there.
And he wasn't running 70 or 80 miles an hour.
He was not either. He didn't have the help of a ramp to get up there either. He did that one all by himself. So, all right, here we go. Back around one more time. Dave Darland in second. He takes the bottom lines. He tries to get up and around. Damian Gardner right behind him. The throttle. Shane Cottle.
The guy to watch here might be Brian Clausen in that black 67 who's running fourth. He's been really, really good, and he's going to give Shane Cottle a good run, it looks like, here in just a minute.
And that's one of those cars that was not even completed 2 weeks ago, according to Cole Witt. They actually set that car down on the ground on Sunday after working for 36 hours, and then for the first time, Cole drove a truck trailer to get here.
Kevin Swindell is the kid to watch right now. He's up to 5th, and he's running the bottom of the racetrack. He is coming on strong.
He started 15th, Larry, now up to 5th. That blue car to the inside.
It'll be the blue 39. I'm sure we'll get a look at it soon. The yellow car right there, the yellow number 20. That is Tony Stewart. Underneath him, it looks like it might be his teammate Levi Jones. There's the 39 of Kevin Swindell.
Racing with John Stanbro in the orange 05 right there. Kevin dipped to the bottom, can't quite get any momentum there.
And just behind him, Jason Leffler in the Great Clips car, the number 71. And talking about Levi Jones, there he sits.
Yeah, he was battling with Tony Stewart and got tangled up, sits there all by himself. A tough break for him.
Well, that's a tough thing when you have multiple team cars and you get out here, you do make it to the A, and invariably it's like magnets, you end up beside each other. Another look at it, he's a 20 down low, slides up there, and actually gets into the side of the 11.
Yeah, he got into the side of him and got sideways and just had to stop. Tough break for him.
From Tony Stewart shot, Jerry Coons. Oh, man, that was a hard hit.
And it appeared that maybe Tony Stewart might have caused that whole thing as he got sideways and Coons had to get out of the throttle.
Let's go down to Rob.
Well, Ken, crew chief for the number 9, driven by Dave Darland, Team ASE Toyota Power Plant, Kelly Draco. Welcome back to the Chili Bowl. You guys are running second here, 20 or 33 laps in the books. What are you telling your man?
I'm just telling him that, you know, we got that one ST right on his tail. He's doing a beautiful job. He's so smooth here. I mean, it's all up to him. You know, he just, it's the only reason we came here is to run him here. You know, we haven't been here in 10 years. And I really didn't want to come unless we could have somebody like Dave Darland, because, you know, everywhere we go to win.
There it is, guys. Let's head back to the booth, get ready to go green once again.
There are no radios and no mirrors in these things, so the pit guys aren't telling them anything, let me tell you.
Only through hand signals, and he stepped out on the racetrack, Larry, during that caution to signal Dave Darland.
You know,
Here comes Clausen.
One of the things he made was signaling is that the bottom curve is coming in.
Shane Cottle quickly got up to 3rd. He's been following Dave Darland. He tried high, he tried low, but he hadn't been able to get around him. And Damian Gardner, once again, pulls out into a slight 3 or 4 car length lead.
And Shane Cottle, who won the Thursday night preliminary here in 2007, won some midget races, Silver Crown, the Ted Horn 100 in 2007, had a lot of success. 2-time Indiana Midget Week champion.
Right now, as long as this cushion stays up there, Damian Gardner is going to be a tough guy to beat. All those guys behind him have to search the racetrack, and he seems to be very quick up there in front.
One of the wild cards, Larry, maybe if we can go several laps here with no yellows, they will run into traffic before this race is over, and that's not what Damian Gardner wants to deal with.
Absolutely. He does not want to get into lap traffic, because if any of those lap guys are running up on the cushion, that's going to take his favorite spot away, and it could do him in.
Second place, 9X, Dave Darland, great onboard shot there. And of course, right behind him, Shane Cottle, that 1ST.
At this point, Gardner is clearly faster than Darland. I don't know if Cottle is faster than Darland, but he can't get around him to try to show what he can do with Gardner. So he's just, right now, he's got to follow.
We've heard it time and time again. It's one thing to catch him. It's another thing to pass him. And if you don't have that other line, you just can't get there.
Watch everybody going into turn 3. Everybody's going in lower, sliding through the slick stuff up to the cushion because they don't want to hit that hole that's bitten a lot of guys.
Stanbro challenging Clausen there, but not enough to get it done on the inside. He had to fall back in behind him.
8 laps to go. We are under 10 to go here. The 22nd run of the Chili Bowl, and we get one on its lid.
Jerry Coons Jr. is upside down. Levi Jones has slid to a stop. Looks like Cole Witt crossways on the racetrack in the 71. I need to see the side to see if that's the Red Bull car, but it looks like it from here.
So tough break with just a few laps to go here.
That's a huge break for Damian Gardner, because when they restart this race with 7 to go, he may not now have to deal with traffic after all.
Let's go down to Rob.
Well, guys, Jason Leffler, Keith Kunz Motorsports driving the great Calypso number 71K powered by Toyota, pulling into the pits. Don't know what the issue is. Keith Kunz with his head underneath the hood, as it looks like possibly a fuel pump problem, an engine problem, possibly an ignition problem. It's hard to tell with these midgets what can go wrong. A lot of things can go wrong underneath the hood. The crew pulling off the hood, and it looks like they're checking some fuel, possibly a fuel line coming loose. You got a fuel filter in there. They got a quick tight. They got the hood back on. Now going to pull the arm guard off, trying to figure out what the issue is with the 71K of Jason Leffler. Also, we see the 33 of Davey Ray into the pits as well. The green Mecum entry. Davey Ray looks like he's going to get a new left rear down. A lot of action in the pits, guys.
Once again, we'll go back and take a look at what happened here.
Yeah, look.
Like Leffler on the outside again, and it looked like he did. He had to check up a little bit because of Tony Stewart.
That was Leffler who started it. Yeah, Leffler got sideways and started the whole thing back there. For the rest of them, didn't have anything to do.
And your leader, 71G, that's Damon Gardner, and followed by Dave Darlin and the 9X, owned by Steve Lewis right there. We'll go back into 3rd place. It'll be the 1ST of Shane Cottle. He's just having a spectacular run, but not able to get around Dave Darlin as of yet.
Well, Shane Cottle having a good run here, but he's just got to deal with Dave Darland, and this may help him to get a shot at him on the restart here.
The 67 back behind him will be Brian Clausen in his 4th Chili Bowl. It's his first feature.
He's really one of the bright young talents in open wheel racing who's made that leap, and as we have documented, it's been a while since he's been on dirt.
Clausen spending some time in the full body cars in the ARC Remax series. Right now, this is a battle for first place. It's once again Damian able to check out a little bit.
But Gardner bicycled again, Larry, right there up in the same spot. That corner's giving him trouble.
Yeah, he's feeling the heat back there.
Here comes Stanbro.
Oh.
Big slider.
He
Kevin
moves
Swindell.
He moved Clausen over, but not far enough. Meanwhile, Swindell's trying to get around both of them.
Oh, yeah, Swindell's going to get the spot right there as well for Stanbro, and Stanbro right back.
Boy, brilliant move for Stanbro to recover so quickly and get right back at him.
Slip and slide, dip and dive. That's what this racetrack is all about at the moment. That's the only way to get around somebody is to give them a slide job.
Now Stanbro working on Clausen as we're riding on board for Tony Stewart again, still trying to get the handle on that race car. Tracy Hines right behind him, his teammate.
Well, look at those left rear tires distort when they go through those turns. Battle for 2nd place, Dave Darlin, and in 3rd place, Shane Cottle.
3 laps to go. Now Clausen trying to hold off Stanbro as Gardner's beginning to check out.
I'd like to switch my pick to pick number 2 and Damian Gardner, if you don't mind. Great battle here for 2nd place. Oh, Gardner makes a mistake.
He's the same spot there in turn 4. He almost turned it around. White flags.
1 lap left to go for the 22nd run of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl. Who's going to win it? It looks like it's going to be number 71, Damian Gardner. What a spectacular drive. Darlin hangs on to 2nd, Cottle in 3rd, Clausen in 4th, Stanbro in 5th. Kevin Swindell with a nice run as well there in the top 10. And man, oh man, he had his car set up nice tonight. Started on the outside of the front row. You can see the excitement there. You said it one night ago here Friday night when he did so well. He needed this one.
He certainly did. And we also mentioned the fact that if this racetrack stayed tight, if there was a cushion starting where he was going to be very tough to beat, and he was.
You know, I talked with Damien after that win, and he is a very confident young man, but admitted that 2007 kind of battered and bruised his ego just a bit. It's feeling a whole lot better now.
And
you know what? He beat the boss last night. He beat the boss again tonight.
He sure did, and I'm sure nobody's happier for him right now than Jason Leffler. Pat touched on it. The reason that it was tough for Damian Gardner, he got out of his element last year, moved to the Midwest. He faced all these new racetracks, and that's always a learning curve. This is a very crucial victory for his career, not just in the stature and prestige, but how it will boost his confidence.
He's so excited he pulled the steering wheel up.
Right.
Whoops.
He pulled it off and then had to put it back on because he wasn't close to where he was supposed to be.
That is excitement. That probably gave him a thrill as well.
This will be a fun victory lane because he is a very, very excitable guy.
He is. He's a great speaker as well, and he was pretty amped up on Friday night.
I don't know if we got a delay button on this show, but get ready, guys, because he's going to be jacked up when
we
he
don't
gets out
have
of the
to.
car.
It's pay-per-view. We're good to go, baby. Whatever he wants to throw at us is okay.
As Jason Leffler congratulating, of course, he's the car owner that Damian Gardner drives for. So.
All right, let's go down the mat with a very happy winner here.
Hugs all around in his 6th Chili Bowl appearance. Congratulations, you've taken home a crown jewel event.
Oh yeah, buddy.
You even got that thing, huh?
Oh man, I tell you what, dude. I don't know what to say. I just got to thank all these guys. You know, Leffler for helping me put this deal together a while back, and you know, Leffler, he's a good friend of mine, and Pace Electronics, Pat Kehoe. I can't say enough about him. He brought me back here. Leffler hooked me up with this ride about 3 weeks ago, and it's his car hitter night that we beat him with. So, and we beat him last night with it. I'm just super pumped. I got to thank my crew chief, Daryl Saucer. He's going to be with us next year. I'm just looking to carry this on for the whole season. I think he's the piece we've been needing for the puzzle here at Pace Electronics Racing, and I'm just jacked. You know, I'm TMASE, all these guys, man. I don't know what to say. All my family and friends at home. This is it right here.
Well, what about the e-ticket ride down in 3 and 4, almost bicycle down?
Yeah, you know, it was getting slick to the curb, and it was getting real technical, and I made a mistake there early on that getting that restart, and I caught that lip getting in, and I just kept it real straight, and hopefully I was going to ride it out. And it landed, and next thing I know, I looked left, and Dave wasn't past me. So I just gassed it up and just worked hard on trying to hit my marks, and it just more it went on, you could see her making more mistakes. I'm not sure if everybody behind me was, but you know, it was just tough getting around at the end. I want to thank all the fans, all my crew, Jeff, Marty, all these guys that come help us. The East crew for Bobby's their crew for helping us out all weekend. All the Chili Bowl fans, this is a great event. Wasn't even going to be here this year, and you know, this is one of our biggest.
You weren't going to be here, and now you're taking home the Golden Driller. What's that mean?
Oh man, you know, I thought about it for a second today. Someone mentioned it to me, and they said, yeah, your name might get to be on that list out front there. And I thought, man, that would be cool. And you know, for about a couple seconds, 30 seconds, I thought about it. And then I thought, well, no, we ain't even close yet, so don't even plan on putting your name up with those guys. But I tell you what, it feels pretty good.
Damian Gardner's 2nd A-main appearance, and he takes home a crown jewel event, the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. Rob?
Well, guys, coming home in 2nd spot, Double D, Dave Darlin. Your best finish coming into this event. 3rd, you upped it by 1 second. It looked like Damian was pretty quick, but you had a pretty good battle going on there between you and the throttle, Mr. Cottle, there for the last probably 20-some-odd laps or so.
Yeah, we was just a little too tight, especially early there. We just guessed a little bit wrong on the racetrack. You know, the last time they tore the track up, it went pretty slick. This time it stayed real heavy for most of the race, and then we started getting a little better towards the end. But yeah, we just set up a little too tight for the track conditions, and we just didn't guess quite right. You know, like I said earlier, that you know, when they tear the track up, you just don't know what you're going to get, and it came out a little heavier than what we thought.
Was it difficult trying to run down the leader, or more difficult trying to hold up, as Damian throws some water on us, more difficult trying to run down DG or trying to hold off Cottle?
Well, a little of both. I got, just before that last yellow flag, I was gaining just a little bit on Damian. I wasn't gaining on him enough, but you know, we was gaining on him a little bit, and you know, Cottle would show me a nose there for a while, but you know, once the bottom got so slick, you couldn't really hold it down there. Then I didn't have to worry about Cottle too much. except unless I screwed up or, the bottom just wasn't good enough to pass somebody that was decent off the top. So anyway, I'd just like to say hi to Steve Lewis and everybody watching back home, and thanks for letting us come to the Chili Bowl.
Double D Dave Darling, guys, comes home in the second spot. Let's go to Matt Yoakum with third spot. And just to remind you, Matt, I picked Shane Cottle for the win.
Well, he did grab a podium finish, and by the way, I did pick Jason Leffler. I just didn't say the winning car owner. But Shane Cottle, describe your night.
Oh, we had a good night. If we ever could have got past Darlin, I think we had something for Damien, but he was running a line that was really hard to pass, and he'd go in low and slide up high, and it's one of them things, and we'll come back next year and see if we can get it next year.
How did the track change during the A-main?
Oh, the track, was really fast early, and my car was so tight, and it wasn't very good early, but the longer the race went on, the better it got, and Daryl Socher, he had that thing hooked up, perfect, and it's good to see my teammate win.
Congratulations, third place tonight.
Thank you.
What a race, guys.
Boy, you got to give props to Daryl Socher, who's was the owner crew chief there for first and third. Interesting to think about the USAC Sprint Car Series coming up this season, because he's going to be with Damian Gardner all the time wrenching that pace sprint car. They could be formidable for sure.
Let's go back down to Rob.
Well, guys, sit down here in victory lane. Brian Clausen, a good run, man. You started 12th, finished up in the 4th spot. I guess welcome back to the dirt tracks.
Yeah, this is a big weekend for us, and just getting back on the dirt after such a long layoff to be able to come back and perform like we did was pretty awesome. I can't say enough about this team. Keith Coons Motorsports and the whole Bullet Chassis team did an awesome job all weekend, and it was an honor to get to come here, and after being laid off so long off the dirt, and to be able to come back out here and get the opportunity with them and perform as well as he did was just awesome.
I know a lot of open wheel fans would like to know how often we're going to see Brian Clausen behind the wheel of a Midget sprint car this year, and will Mr. Ganassi, if he's watching, it's just between us. If he's not watching, you be able to run some more midgets on the dirt this year.
We're going to just try and fill in the schedule around the Busch or the nationwide stuff, and kind of try and fill in as much as we can and be on the racetrack. But Chip and Lauren, if you're out there watching, please let me do at least a few midget races. This stuff's a lot of fun. This is like being back home, and can't say enough about how much fun I had this weekend, and really looking forward to coming back next year and doing it again. I want to say hi to everybody out there watching. I got a lot of people back in North Carolina, all the test teams and Busch teams and everybody back there is watching, and a lot of family and friends back home, so I just want to say hi to them.
Well, a good run for the youngster. Brian Clausen comes home in 4th. Let's go back to the booth, guys.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at the final results here for the 22nd running of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl. And Damian Gardner, obviously your winner, followed by Dave Darlin and Shane Cottle. Brian Clausen, a great run, and John Stanbro, everybody putting on a great run. How about Kevin Swindell, Dave?
Absolutely, Ken. 15th to 6th, and you got to give props to Nathan High. Started dead last, 24th to 10th, on a track that was difficult to pass on.
Levi Jones had his fair share of problems down in there. Jesse Hocking, Cole Witt, Josh Ford also starting on the pole. Unfortunately, some bad luck. And then, of course, Davey Ray. We'll look at the bottom of the field here, and these are guys, unfortunately, just couldn't stay out of trouble, except for Casey Kane, obviously, with a failure there of some sort along the way. As you can see the fans filing out of here. We really want to say thank you to everybody that's joined us here tonight live on pay-per-view. You've had a taste of the Chili Bowl, and there's nothing else like it, guys.
Hey, let's leave all this, the stage and everything all set up. Let's come back tomorrow night and do this again, because this is really, really good stuff right
You know
here.
what? If they brought another Golden Driller out, these guys would stay here. There's no question about it. Well, they've worked so hard here for the longest of times. We want to thank a lot of people that have helped us out all along the way. Special props, of course, to Lucas Oil and Lucas Oil Studios, New Wave Television Productions, my good buddy, Mr. Stephen Grind. Of course, all the guys inside of the truck that have helped us out and brought us such great pictures. And, of course, everybody here from the Chili Bowl that has worked so hard to give us this spectacular event. It's 22 years in the making. We've had plenty of exciting action, no doubt. Well over 50 flips before it was all said and done. And tempers flared, no doubt about it. Smoke came back and was not able to do what, well, quite frankly, nobody else has been able to do either, and that's win back-to-back events. Special props to Damian Gardner, your winner here for the 22nd annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl. For Rob Klepper, Matt Yoakum, Dr. Pat Sullivan, Larry Rice, and Dave Argerbright, I'm Ken Stout. We want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you next year, 2008.